And we're going live. Good morning. Right now it's 8:38 a.m. on a Wednesday. We have a packed show. If you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this out. We're going to be talking about a lot of things happening in League City, Texas City, Galveston County. I got Joe in studio. We're going to be talking about Ron Carter, League City, our good friends at Ron Carter. What's up?
What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
I'm great.
Man, so is it a good time to buy a car right now?
It's the best time to buy a car. I told you I'd tell you when it was.
Yeah, but why? Why is it good right now?
Right now, it's just they're doing EP pricing on all 19s. They're not waiting until December this year. They're getting everything out of here in November. They're doing EP on all 19s, stuff that's normally not crazy deals, like, 2500s, 3500s, high-power cars. You saw some of the sports cars like y'all drove, 392s, SRTs.
Yeah.
Even those have big money off right now, so it's a great time.
That's cool. I saw it was a post that one of my friends, his name is Mark, he and his wife own Furniture Zone in Dickinson, right? He's into cars, but like race cars. He's into like really hard to find things. And so he posted a picture of this truck that's for sale somewhere in Oklahoma, but it's like dropped all the way to the floor. Like, I don't even understand it. It was an F-350, a Ford, but I don't know. Have you ever been into stuff like that? Like, how low can you get this truck to the floor?
I was in high school. Actually, a couple of us at the dealership were. Back in the day, that was a thing. Single cab drop trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one.
That's good. You did?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I loved it.
What would you do would you like go do it in car shows or just drive it around slow and hit curbs? That's what I would do.
We went to car shows. We just drove them around. They don't really drive much different. Mine wasn't like crazy on bags and stuff. I was about that far, about an inch and a half off the ground.
Yeah.
But, we were in high school. Most of our cars weren't worth anything anyway, so.
Might as well have some fun with it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So this one was a 350, but it had they were hauling stuff with it, and it wasn't just like a regular ball like on the back. They have it to where it's in the middle of the bed.
Gooseneck.
So yeah, gooseneck. So you could haul, and it showed a video. I saw a video of it hauling this stuff. It's barely off the ground. I'm like, what are you doing?
I've seen that before with dualies though. That's a lot of money though.
Yeah. Man, that's fun. So we're talking to Ron Carter in League City. Can you let me know, where y'all are located and then what y'all offer?
We're 3535 Gulf Freeway South. We're right next to Amoco, and McCree Ford is on the other side. We sell Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and a huge pre-owned inventory.
Do y'all play nice with McCree? Because they're right there. Like, you could literally go outside if you wanted to and throw a rock.
I couldn't tell you the name of one person that works there.
Really?
It or not. No, because we don't talk.
So there's that. It's like the bad blood, is what you're saying.
No, absolutely not. But it's like there's the street in between us, and there would just be no reason for either one of us to go on the other person's lot.
Yeah.
But no, we have a lot of mutual customers and stuff like that. I've never even been inside the store.
But y'all will also be able to have like pre-owned Fords potentially, like on y'all's lot.
Fords.
Yeah. And you've been in the car business for a while, so you're probably pretty knowledgeable about all of their stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have to know everything about all of our competition. Plus, like you said, we sell a lot of pre-owned ones. And
mm-hmm. How about if somebody's trying to just straight up sell a car?
We just started doing that program.
And they don't even have to buy one?
No. If you just have an old car, the tags are out, you have a car that runs, but you're never driving it. It doesn't matter how old it is or if it's newer. If you just want to sell a car, we had a guy the other day that came in he was moving out of state. He had a truck now. He was like, I don't want to drive a truck here. Gas expensive. They just sell their car.
What kind of truck was it?
It was like I don't even remember. I'll be honest.
Was it a big one?
It was a big one. It was a gas guzzler.
Okay.
But he didn't need it anymore because he wasn't going to have a trailer up there.
Yeah.
So
that might have been my brother-in-law, because you're describing the exact situation that they're in. It was a Toyota Tacoma. Like, has a little bit of a lift on it. It was like a silver one, but he's been working out of town. But they bought a Jeep. They got a Grand Cherokee, and
nice.
They got rid of the truck. But they bought the Grand Cherokee like online, unseen, or something from somewhere like out of state. And so they brought that in, but they just needed to sell the truck.
Yeah, and we just started doing that because we're actually doing a lot more with cash cars now. We are offering some cash cars. They're not financed cars, just cars you pay cash for. Where 50-50 in them, guaranteeing that anything that goes wrong with the first 12,000 miles 1 year,
Yeah.
that we'll have 50-50 if there's a repair to
Oh,
be
that's
done.
cool.
But we are trying to do some more affordable cars,
Yeah.
just because it's easier than sending everything to the auction. A lot of times you got a good car, good engine, good transmission, but it's got 125,000 miles on it.
Mm-hmm. Whenever you say like a cash car, what kind of range will that price be in? If I'm trying to buy one and I need a cash car,
anywhere from 2 to 7 or 8,000, maybe a little bit more. Just depends how nice the car is, because cars are, they're making it with further mileage nowadays.
Yes.
And we do have a lot of high mileage cars that the banks don't want to give a loan on, but for $4,000 or $5,000, a customer can buy a car that can go 3-4 more years and keep them in good shape.
yeah, that makes sense. Just take care of the items that you have, and they will last longer. So whenever it comes to service, y'all have a service department there as well,
Correct.
and y'all take care of. I'm sure there's packages you can get, or some things are covered. You can buy an additional warranty. How does that go?
Well, all the new cars come with a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty and a 3-year, 36 bumper to bumper. There's lots of extended warranties available. For the most part, we do all of the warranty work there. Your warranty from Chrysler is good, in any Dodge dealership anywhere you're at. A lot of cars are out of warranty. They got too many miles on them. People still bring them to us to fix all the time.
Yeah.
We're got a real honest service department. So,
Mm-hmm.
we get that a lot. We get people that come in and they'll say that they told us this, and this is wrong. And the mechanic will be like, no, it's just this or this. So
Mm-hmm.
we've got a good reputation in service.
That's cool. There is something going on that I heard about the other day when I stopped in, and it's employee pricing. I'm not an employee there. I wouldn't mind working
It's
there.
for everybody.
But everybody, so even me.
Even me, I don't even get employee pricing. I get friends and family pricing.
Really?
Right. You have to be a direct Chrysler employee to get employee pricing. I've never seen this before.
Wow.
So it's a really big deal. You're seeing some of it on TV and stuff like that, but it's a really, really big deal. It's one of those things that this is one of those times, like I tell you, people will come in this month, and if they come back next month or the month after, they cannot get the same deal.
Really?
Really, I mean,
They're gonna
it's big.
be mad. So if you bought a car, you'd be like, I should have waited, or just buy another one, or maybe you need to trade in if you bought a car last year.
Exactly. This is the best time of the year to buy right now. EP pricing, it does not get better than that.
Okay.
That's basically the factory's pricing on them.
That's good to know. Good to know. Right now it's 8:46. Feel free to share this stream out. Hanging out, talking to Joe. We're talking about Ron Carter and League City. Right now there's some cool stuff going on, including something that I'm not sure if y'all have done before. Is there some kind of like a car show?
We're doing a car show this weekend. It's,
This weekend.
This weekend.
And who can come? Like what's going to be out there?
Anybody can come. You don't have to look at the new cars. You don't have to be the one to buy a car. If you just want to swing through the parking lot and take 10 minutes or shoot an hour, look around and see all the cars, bring the kids out.
Yeah.
Come take a look at them.
What kind of cars?
It's anything. You can bring your car.
You
Bring
can-
your car to it. If you have a car that you take to car shows, bring it.
So I
Park
got
it.
my drop
We'll
truck.
look.
If I had one.
Exactly. It's open to everybody.
Okay.
It's not there's no, as far as I know, there's no awards. It's an open show. If you and a couple of your friends are out driving your cars, you want to do like a little cars and coffee type morning, come on by afterwards, park your cars and look at everybody else's. It's just something we want to do to get some people in there to have a little bit of fun. It's that time of the year, holidays, everybody's, it's a fun time of the year.
Yeah.
So people like to look at cars. If you've got a really cool car and you like to, it's your weekend car, as everybody calls them,
Mm-hmm.
we'll drive it in there and let everybody else look at it too, instead of just keeping it in your garage all week.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of whenever it comes to somebody's car, that's like their pride and joy. It depends on who you're talking to and what it is.
Some people, they love them more than their kids.
Yeah. Yes. So that'll be an interesting time. What time does that start on Saturday?
Man, you're stumping me.
What
there.
time do y'all open?
We open at 9. It's going to be pretty early. We do. Dana's been working really hard on that car show. There's a lot of information on it on Instagram. You can actually RSVP for it. Like I said, no entry fees, nothing like that. Just come on out, bring your car, bring your lawn chair, and come show it to everybody in League City.
Yeah, Amanda Perez, which I know that you know her and her family. They've all
Very
bought
well.
from you multiple times. She said, I'm thinking about trading the Camaro for a Charger. And I feel like I've seen her comment on some of your stuff before, being like, I'm looking for that Charger.
She's looking
I've
for the
traded in.
perfect car. She was looking for a Mustang before,
Okay.
but a Charger would make more sense.
Yeah, from the Camaro. Man, did you see that her back windshield shattered?
No, but I believe it.
I was talking to her daughter. My son and her daughter, they go to the school together,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in the same class. And I saw that Amanda had shared a picture on social media, and it's her, beautiful car, very nice car. It seems like it's pretty fast, and I'm sure she drives it as fast as she wants. But anyways, the back window was shattered in the car. And so I was like, Bella, it's her daughter. It's like, what happened? What happened? The window just shattered, and she just shared a little bit, and I don't know. It was a really interesting story. I don't understand. I was like, did she get it fixed? She's like, yeah, that's good. That's all that matters.
It's funny because I saw her on Facebook a couple of times. She's driving her mom's car. I was like, it's time for you to get another one.
Yeah. What does her mom drive?
She drives a Grand Cherokee.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's super nice.
That's like a floor model car, huh?
Yeah, she was actually inside the building, like by the ones y'all take pictures of when she bought it. But yeah, it's a real pretty car.
That's cool.
I would take my mom's car too.
If that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's probably Amanda breaking her own back window so that way she can drive her mom's car.
Oh man, I want to hear that story too. How do you break your back window?
Yeah. Can you share the exact story? She did say that it busted while Bella was back there driving down the road. It scared us.
Ooh.
So maybe a rock hit. Right now there's a lot of construction. Whenever I was a kid, that happened one time, but it was a lawnmower. We were not like on the highway or anything, but a rock came and hit, but we were driving by and someone was mowing their yard and it at the right time and it busted. My mom had a Riviera. You remember those?
Yeah.
Ooh, I liked that car. It was only a 2-door, so I was a little kid like squeezing in the back.
I never had a back windshield break. I had a side window get busted one time because a car backed into us.
Yeah.
And that went. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine because no, Bella's probably facing frontwards now.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. The first when I met her, she was like this big.
Yeah.
We were talking about that last time. They came in. Now she's huge and long hair, and she was a little kid.
Pretty much an adult.
I wouldn't go that far, but she grew a lot.
Mm-hmm. Right now, let's see, it's 8:50. We're going to be hanging out, talking to Joe for about 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to bring in some of the Lions from League City. The League City Lions, they put on the League City Music Fest. Have you heard of that before?
Oh yeah, the League City Music Fest. I haven't been though.
Yeah.
But we have. We put a booth out and stuff like that.
Okay. So Ron Carter is out there, and that is a pretty cool event. I know they've done it for a long time, but it used to be called something different. And then some years ago, they kind of turned it into, let's make this a fest, a music fest, instead of just like that, hey, it's the fair on the square, type feel.
Yeah, well, it's
next
been,
level.
I was gonna say the last few years. I mean, I've been out there. I just haven't been out there for the concert yet. Whenever they're doing, I've been out there for like the little kind of the fair. Because our booth this year was actually by the stage, which we didn't realize until we set it up and everything, that nobody goes by the stage until the concert starts.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's a fun event, real well organized. We've actually been doing that since, I know the first time I went out there was 2015. So we've been doing it for a long time.
Okay. Cool.
But, yep, definitely familiar with that one.
Cool. Ron Carter, that's now in League City. Y'all used to be in Texas City, right?
Right. We used to, while we were building the store, we were on Palmer, actually right across the street from Cook Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always next to a Ford store. And
I guess that's good. You know what? It gives people options.
Yeah, customers, they always like us better, but no, it's we were right there. I don't know what it is now. It was a furniture. I think it's called Awesome Auto. Now it's an accessories place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were right there on Palmer.
Do you know the gentleman who owns that?
The building?
Yeah, that is in the building y'all used to be in.
I want to say his name's Felix.
Felix, that's right.
Felix.
I couldn't remember what it was, but his cousin used to own a nutrition shop that was in there, and so we'd go work out, and so I'd met Felix before.
Okay.
I was trying to bring him on. Someone from his office had reached out, but it was like a scheduling conflict because I wanted to see what all they got going on.
They do a lot of stuff. They do bed liners,
Mm-hmm.
window tint, running boards. We've used them for some stuff.
Yeah.
But that was they were over there while we were building the store, and then we moved to the big store. It took a while to build, but even when I started at the big store, you wouldn't even recognize it. The whole truck lot that wasn't there, the whole back wasn't there. It was just where you drive up that little. It was probably 1/5 what it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, all the big trucks used to be where the truck lot is now, but it was just a dirt field on a rainy day.
Man.
We had to like take rubber boots out there.
I was talking to a gentleman named Kevin Venable. He is with Amoco Federal Credit Union. And the first one in Texas City, they said they kind of took a leap of faith. Like, well, there's not too much, out here. I-45, it's an interstate, but there really wasn't much out there whenever Amoco started building on that land, whenever y'all started building on that land. Maybe there was plans like, hey, we're going to do a 16-lane highway.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I thought they were absolutely crazy. And actually, when I first moved back to Texas and they told me where the store was, that was the first thing I said, too. Because I hadn't been down this way. I hadn't gone to Galveston in probably 6 years or anything. I never had been past 518.
Yeah.
So I remember my dad told me where it was. I was like, why would anyone build a store out there? Because the first thing I remember was on 646 when they built that Best Buy.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. I was like, what are these stupid people doing? Were Victory Lakes not? I guess they were the smart ones and I was the dumb one because it blew up quick.
There was nothing. Yeah, that Victory Lake subdivision, I have a friend, and this is like right when I graduated high school. He was living with his sister, and she had a house over there in Victory Lakes. There was nothing. Nothing was out there. No Walmart,
deer
nothing.
When I got here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a deer in years by the dealership, but it used to be real common. Every morning when I would drive up on that cross colony between Amoco and us, back on the back way before Bay Colony where those big fields were, you would always see deer. We still do see rabbits. Not as many, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would see deer and everything. Now it's all just blown up.
And with all these people, a lot of house sales, there's been a lot of growth and development, more grocery stores, more everything. And people need cars. People need cars. So check out our friends at Ron Carter in League City. We touched on the employee pricing that's going on right now. We got the car show. And we talked about how y'all are buying cars, straight up. Was there another one? Was there anything else that we were trying to bring up?
I want to emphasize that EP pricing. That's a very, very big deal. And then we're also doing the KBB event this week. So you mix that with the EP pricing. We have an incredible used inventory right now. And I'm going to get Kurt in a car before this month's over. It's like my life mission.
I saw he needs one.
He's going to buy one. He's going to. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to buy a car.
I saw some pictures that you had shared of, you were mentioning like the used inventory right now. Awesome looking cars.
It's incredible because people are taking advantage of all these new car specials and they're trading in really nice ones. We're just getting lucky. Sometimes you get lucky. You get those cars that were just taken immaculate care of.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of those right now. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up. And if you're in a used car market, come by the store. Don't just look online because right now we have so much stuff that we don't even have time to get online. We've got used Jeeps that are less than a year old, under 20,000 miles, used diesels, and tons of trucks. I think I've got like 4 Toyota Tacomas I don't even have a picture of yet that are all gorgeous.
And, Jeeps seem to hold their value because a lot of people want them.
Yeah, they hold their value really well. But anytime you can get one with 10,000 miles or less used, you can still save a little money.
Yeah, and they look the same. They're relatively like the same look, so they're not updating it's not broken, they're not fixing it. You get a Wrangler from, 10 years ago. There's some updates, and, they make them nicer and nicer. But
and people seem to like the older ones every time. They seem to like the older Jeeps. But there's a lot of good stuff going on, lots of good inventory. It's the best time of the year to buy a car.
Yes.
But since I've been in the car business, I've only seen one other month like this, and it was only for trucks. It wasn't for everything like they're doing it now. So take advantage because this isn't going to happen again.
Cool. All right. Joe, is there anything else you'd like to share? Maybe we could talk about your time playing college basketball in Hawaii.
Man.
That's awesome.
It was. It was fun, but it was, it's actually on air all the time now. The Maui Invitational, that was the big thing that we did back then, but it was, those are old days, man. I don't even really remember too many of the scores and stuff. I used to could, but we're not even good anymore. I don't ever. All my friends are always like, "Man, did you see the game?" I'm like, "Man, I hate to say this, but I don't even watch it anymore." I mean, I still watch college basketball, but watching Hawaii play, it's like it's depressing. I mean, I hate to say it, it is depressing, But we weren't great when I was there either. But it's hard to follow because that was a fun year.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and thank you, Joe, for hanging out with us. And thank you to Ron Carter for everything that y'all do.
All right, y'all take it easy. Hopefully, I'll see a bunch of people here this weekend.
All right.
Come by the car show.
All right.
Bring your daughter.
We'll do. I'll see you soon. All right, so next, we're going to be talking to the League City Lions as they are going to be sharing everything that they have going on. So right now, I'm in studio by myself, as you can see. I need to bring my guests in, so I need y'all to hang tight because I wish I could show you. If I would pull a camera around, I'm like so alone in here. I have no intern, no help. It's just me rolling solo, which is awesome. But here, I'm going to be right back. Hang tight. Hang tight. Okay, I'm back, kind of. I just hollered, like, down the room. I was like, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready. So we're going to get our guests in and get them situated, get the mics moved, the cameras. Feel free to share this out. We're talking to the League City Lions. Have you heard of the League City Lions? Are you a part of the League City Lions? I want to hear it. I want to know. Hi. Could you pop that door closed for me, if you don't mind? Sorry. I was just telling my people, like, everybody that's watching, I was like, hey, I'm going to jump up. I'm all alone in here, but I'm going to run out and yell at them. So, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm going to get y'all all situated. What? Are those blueberry muffins? All right. Very cool. And for this, all I'm going to ask you to do, you can just move that mic and move it probably about as close as I have it to mine, but you can even, do that. That's perfect. Perfect. And same there. And I'm going to get y'all's camera resituated, and we should be good to go. Let me see how I can do this.
Do we need to be closer?
Don't have to be closer. No, you're good. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. I'll do this. Hey, if you are watching, let me know. Hey, good morning, Officer Reyes. I saw Officer Reyes, and you're going to have to help me with this. I saw the UFC, I think it's 247, is coming to Houston in February. And I know if anybody has the hookup, it would be you. So, I don't know. I just need to be in the building. Can we make that happen? That'll be good. All right. Actually, that is not good. Here we go. That's good. Boom. All right. Hey, so how's it going? Y'all doing good this morning?
Oh, things are great. Thanks for having us out again.
I'm glad y'all are here. Can y'all introduce yourselves?
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm Gregor Pond. We're with the League City Lions Club.
All right.
And I am Lion Malane Sweeney. Lion Greg's a little modest. He is the president of our club. So we are so glad to be out here. I'm the service chairperson for this year's.
Cool. And so y'all have a lot of stuff going on year round. Year round. You know, the big thing that sticks out to me is League City Music Fest, which is huge. And I had the opportunity to be out there, and it was a great time.
Absolutely. We were so glad to have you out there for our Kids' Day going live. It was definitely an interesting experience for all of us. My cell phone kept you guys going. It was such a good day. I missed a lot of calls and messages, but we made it work.
I was answering them. They didn't tell you? I was like, she's really busy. She said not to answer your phone call. I'm just kidding. But, hey, we're going to flip it on to the FM. We're going to keep it going. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it is 9:02. Maybe you're watching on Facebook. If you are, feel free to share this out. If you're watching on Channel 46, thank you so much for taking the time. Call a friend, text a friend, tell them to tune in. We are talking to the League City Lions. It's going to be a great time. They have a lot of stuff going on all the time, and we're about to find out what's going on this holiday season. So good morning. First of all, how are y'all doing?
Doing great.
We're doing excellent. Thank you for having us out here again.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. So we got Malane.
Yes.
We got Greg. Greg, you are the president, right?
Correct.
How long have you been associated with the Lions? How long have you been in this role as president as well?
So I'm a second generation Lion, and I've been a member for 30 years.
So 30 years. That's a long time.
Just a little while.
Yeah, and y'all have been doing, some of these same things, giving back to the community for 30 years.
Yes.
That you have. And it's been the Lions Club. How long has it been here in League City?
Oh, gosh.
1952.
Yes.
1952. Now, my math isn't good, but that's a long time. That's longer than 30 years, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, Melaine, what is the role you're currently serving in as the Lions?
So currently I am the service chairperson, so I get the wonderful task of helping take ideas from our members and make them happen, of how we can help our community more and bigger and better and everything else, and kind of encourage and get it out there. So you've talked about our music festival. You've kind of participated with us. So, that is our fundraiser, but is also one of our largest service projects. So I get to have my hand in that and everything else. Our Lion Justin Gerpon is our chairman this year. He is a third generation. He is son to Lion Greg. So he's going to take us into what will be an amazing, bigger and better 66th year of the festival. So that's just one of our projects. And this time of year,
Cool.
we're super busy. We got lots of fun things happening over the next couple weeks.
I saw that Justin got married recently.
He did.
We did.
Is he still out and on his honeymoon?
He is still in Paris.
In Paris. I didn't know where he was going. That's awesome.
Yes.
Has he had time to stop having fun and, newlywed life to be like, hey, I miss you guys or anything like that?
Actually, he said last night, he's like, I'm missing home.
He called. So we have our meetings on the first and third Tuesday at noon over at Red River. And it was about 11:45. He was calling his dad to check in with him. And I'm just going, that's dedication. I love the Lions. I've been known on vacations to be checking in and working, but on my honeymoon, I think I would have let it go for just that brief moment, But he is steadfast and ever loyal to us, and he was still checking in on us.
That's cool. I would be concerned if I was a part of the League City Lions that he is, researching the Paris Lions and maybe going to join them, be like, hey, you can't leave us. We got the music festival coming up. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I would be a little bit worried too. It was one of those things when I went to London, it was I tried, but they didn't have a meeting while I was there, and I was just like, but I want to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? So I see that there's this fly right here.
Yes.
And I see that there's some food right here. So what do we have going on?
Okay, so one of our largest service projects that we do is a monthly senior breakfast. First Sunday of every month at Hometown Heroes Park, 7:30 a.m. We open the doors to a hot breakfast. Our morning crew gets in at 5 o'clock in the morning, starts making breakfast, making waffles, biscuits and gravy, eggs, sausage, bacon, grits, you name it, we have it.
Waffles.
Pastries.
Is that your thing, waffles?
He is. He brought the waffles last year. That was the new addition. But
That's what I eat every morning.
We have
my little
fruit
bag of waffles.
and everything else. And so we do that, but not everybody likes to get up at 7:30 in the morning, right? So we're like, what could we do for the holidays for the community as a community dinner? And, it's like, the Lions are known for pancake breakfasts and spaghetti dinners. And we're like, we could do something a little bit more than a spaghetti dinner. And we said, well, we're awesome at breakfast. Why do we have to have it at 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday? And so we started putting it together and said, why don't we do it on a Friday at 6:30 p.m.? And so there came breakfast for dinner on December 20th. 100% free to the community. It is not just for seniors. We want the kids to come out there, skip the mall lines and the high price for taking pictures, and come for free. Just bring your camera and take pictures with Santa.
Santa's there.
Santa will be there. Frosty the Snowman will be there, as well as our beloved mascot Leo will be there, all decked out in his holiday garb. They will all be there for pictures. Our League City Leos, our youth division of 12 to 18-year-olds from all over the school district, in the Clear Lake School District, as well as some from Friendswood and Dickinson also are in our club. They will be there doing arts and crafts and games, and then we will have our big breakfast and everything else. The So Anchor Fundraise, there's an Anchor Fundraisers. They make delicious puffins pastries. They are coming out with some of their new line for it. I mean, it's just going to be a huge community event. Multiple Lions clubs have said they're going to come out and support, so you can learn about all the different clubs in our area. So what we brought was just a taste of what would be coming from our pastry. From our pastry side is some fresh blueberry muffins. So
all right,
go ahead.
What are y'all looking forward to the most when it comes to breakfast items? Because there's one thing that stuck out to me that you listed, and I'm guessing yours was the waffles. That's like one of your breakfast things.
Well, Justin's signature thing, he gets up there and gets started with the bacon, and our bacon is exceptional.
Man.
So they bring in a variety. It's like 3 different types of bacon. So you never know if you're going to get one that's like a hickory or an applewood or a maple, brown sugar bacon.
Yeah.
So it's just always kind of a mystery, and it blends together and is great. But yeah, no. So Justin is a truist. We've gone, hey, make life easy. Put the bacon in the oven. He's like, nope, I am grilling this bacon. And so 5 o'clock in the morning, he's got that flat top rolling and starting out pounds and pounds of bacon. I think we maybe do about 20 pounds of bacon each month.
Yes.
So
20 pounds of bacon each month. So Justin Grappon, he's the bacon master, I will say.
He is.
And then, Greg Grappon, you are the president of the Lions, and also maybe the waffle aficionado.
Oh, yeah, that's my job.
He is the chief waffle maker, multiple waffle irons going, everything else. He's thrown out. We've had pumpkin waffles, chocolate chip.
Blueberry.
We did an Andy's mint one last year, chopped up some of those, and so it was like a peppermint chocolate waffle. I mean, he gets creative with his waffles, and we had a taste testing early on of whether it was a artificially sweetened syrup that all of us grew up with, or a maple syrup. And so we decided that we had to have both. I'm a purist. I said, you can't have waffles or pancakes without maple syrup. And they said, but people are used to the regular table syrup. And I said, well, then we'll have both. And they've decided, and so far they've decided maple syrup is what wins at our senior breakfast.
That's the way to go.
It is.
And for you, do you have something that is like what you're looking forward to, like breakfast food items?
I'm a floater, so which is funny. So the one who is actually the professional chef is the floater. I get to make the fruit salad and make biscuits, but biscuits. They've been doing this so long. Everyone is a matter of pride of what is made. We have Lion John Nisbet. He makes the gravy. He makes the grits. He makes the eggs. So he makes all 3 off of the stovetop. And when he goes on vacation during a senior breakfast, it is known. They let us know, breakfast was good today, but John must be on vacation again. And it's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the same. It is not Lion John's grits.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So biscuits and gravy is my thing. Whenever you were listing all that stuff, I'm like, I want the biscuits and the gravy, sausage gravy, and just pour it on top.
Sausage gravy.
And I'm good to go. Yeah, that's like one of my favorites. I remember being a kid and going to Kelly's. They have one in League City. One in Lamarck as well. It's right across the freeway. Mm-hmm. And they call it Smackin' Good. Mm. And I think that's why I ordered it as a kid. I was like, Smack, what is this? I had never heard of biscuits and gravy before, and it's just a huge plate of way too much food, and I eat it all.
Way too much.
Our biscuits are bigger than our heads. They're
They
great.
are.
It's like 3 breakfasts in one. But no, biscuits and gravy are probably my all-time favorite. So growing up in the military, it was always a great time when we got to go home and visit family. Mm-hmm. Every Sunday, my grandfather was the cook, and he made biscuits and gravy and everything else. And it was just, so that's always that of the biscuits and gravy means breakfast with Grandpa. So that's got to be my all-time actual favorite breakfast item.
And then every month right now, the League City Lions puts on a senior breakfast.
Yes.
And they are able to come and just get served and have a good time.
Absolutely. So the name is Senior Breakfast, and that's goes to the roots, of embracing the history. But really, it is open to anybody. Anybody who wants to come out and like I said, 7:30 in the morning, and have a hot meal. You're welcome. We get a lot of different people who come out and everything else, and it's not just for League City. We get some people that come over from Dickinson. It's really anyone who just wants to come out and have a hot meal and join us is more than welcome to come. It is a completely free meal that we do for the community, and love doing it.
Awesome.
So we have some other exciting things happening in December.
Mm-hmm. What's going on?
So starting on November 30th, actually, is our first event, and that is something that we partnered with League City Proud. Janice Hallisey and her wonderful group of people, as well as the city, and said, we want to create that perfect hallmark image for our city, and that the Garden Club for League City does an amazing job decorating the outside of the gazebo, but that it could have just a little bit of extra specialness this year. And so we said, let's put a Christmas tree in the gazebo. And so the club has donated the tree, donated the decorations and everything. And so we're going to have a tree raising on November 30th. And yes, we could decorate it ourselves and everything else, and we would love to do that. But what better to get the community out and to be able to help participate with it? And so that's what's going to happen is on from 4 to roughly 7. We'll probably get done earlier. We may, and as people want to leave, they can. Mm-hmm. But we will be putting up the tree, putting the lights and the decorations. But then we have one of our League City Leos, a talented artist named Kirsten Rogers, who's going to lead Christmas carols. And the other Leos will be serving hot chocolate and cookies. So it's just a great time to get the community out and get them together and everything else as we help decorate the city to get it ready for the next weekend for Holiday in the Park.
Oh, yeah.
So excited for Holiday in the Park to be coming up. We have 2 booths this year, as well as 2 floats in the parade to represent both the Lions and the Leos. It's going to be a great time, everything else. So we have a question. What is your favorite part of Holiday in the Park?
My favorite part, I just like the holiday season. Mm-hmm. And, I pray that it's cold.
Yes.
I pray that it's cold. Like, that's really just what I want. And I enjoy being outside with my family and creating memories. That's it. Yeah.
So we can't tell you too much about our float, but I can tell you that we are working on making it snow during the parade.
How are you going to do that? I need to know. I need the answers.
You'll
Top
just
secret.
have to see. You'll have
That's
to see.
That's going to be cool.
So we have multiple snowmen and all sorts of things, but our goal is that it'll be a rocking good time and that we're going to make it snow.
All right. So when you were talking about November 30th with the tree raising, the gazebo, this is the one that was painted pink?
Yes.
That they painted pink, and now it's back to white, and it already has some lights and garland up. But yes, the gazebo right there at Lake Park, the entrance to Holiday in the Park,
that was really cool how they did that. And there was some concern. People were saying, like, why is it pink? Some people understood or didn't really, like, is it going to permanently be pink? But I think that's cool, like as the season goes, or to spread awareness for issues, or to just be festive with the rest of the city. It's really cool to do that, even, temporarily, just paint
definitely.
it.
What I loved is when people started then going into Photoshop and, like, painting it different colors.
Yes.
So, what was it, decorated for the Astros and everything and stuff. So, I thought that was fun. And then there were talks that they were going to go in and sneak in and make it happen overnight and everything else. But, no, I love that, of supporting those different causes and everything else in such a visible way.
And people were, thinking it was like the Photoshop for the Astros. Like, oh, this is real. Some people trying to find it's like, go drive by it. Like, go drive by it. It's not. So, we have Greg Grippon. You are the president, the serving president of the League City Lions. You've been in the organization for 30 years. And your dad, I guess he was the first generation Lion.
Yes, Lynn Grippon. Yeah.
What is it about the organization, seeing your dad in it, that made you want to serve as well?
Well, I kind of grew up in the Lions Club. I mean, I went to the music festival as a kid, being pushed in a stroller. Grew up working the music festival as a kid. So I was
it the music festival back then? I think
it was the Village
name.
Fair.
The Village Fair.
And I have a nickname called Mr. Village Fair.
Yeah.
He does.
So when did it switch from the Village Fair to the music festival?
Well, we have a city that has grown greatly, and there was lots of comments saying, you know what, it's more than a village now. So we felt like, it's time to rebrand it.
Yeah. Does it still capture some of that charm? When I think of a village fair, you were mentioning like the Hallmark feel. I think of like the Hallmark movies, and there's like the village fair, and it's just a magical moment. Does it still capture some of that small town charm, even though League City is 100,000 plus people now?
Right.
I think it does. So that's one of those things is that we have our midway that we've nicknamed the Village Fair at the Music Festival that has all of the vendors and the arts and crafts. And so last year we kind of amped it up and brought all of our community performers out there. We had dance troupes, the Texas City Mariachi Band. It was the high school mariachi band was there. We had all sorts of different groups out there and everything else. We partner with School of Rock, and so all of their talented musicians were out there at one of the gazebo pavilions performing. We had other different local bands performing in it. So to bring all of that part of it in there, we have the cook-off. And last year, was it, I think, about 103 teams each year. It seems to grow more and more. So people are out there, and we invite the community to judge. So that's one of those things about that. If you ever thought that you were a barbecue aficionado, come out and be one of the judges for that, all the different entries. And it takes almost 300 people to judge a cook-off of that size. So it's, a great thing of where we involve the community. We invite nonprofits to come out. So, because although we think that we're great, our hearts burst with our roars and everything else, we still want to support all of the other amazing organizations that need that help and everything else. And so we always invite them to come out. We don't charge nonprofits to have a vendor, and just as a way to support it, So there's so many different things that still embrace that community aspect.
And it's a community event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. You were mentioning judging the barbecue competition, right? Mm-hmm. Have y'all had the opportunity to judge yourselves? Have y'all volunteered to be judges? Or y'all too busy running around? Or make some time?
My first year. So last year I was the chairman, but it was actually only my second year of participating in the event. The first year I was the barbecue co-chairman, and so I said, okay, if I'm going to be a part of this organizing of it, I need to at least judge one category. And so I got to judge the finals for the ribs that year. So yes, I've definitely had my taste in judging.
That's cool. Are you a big barbecue fan?
I'm a huge barbecue fan, especially the ribs. So
yeah,
that's the one I want to judge.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of food.
Yes.
First of all, but like especially barbecue. You think of Texas, there's a couple of food, choices that, I'm thinking Tex-Mex and barbecue. Those are the big dogs in the room.
Oh, absolutely.
People are not going to get mad if those are there. You have an event, you cater it,
yes,
you're good to go. So whenever it comes to, a big event like that, securing judges seems like it would not be that difficult.
You would think, but, at the day of, we're still always scrounging for judges. And so it gets to that point, you're looking at, if you're walking around in that cook-off area, it's, hey, you, we need a judge.
Hey,
and
kid.
you get pulled in and everything else. Well, unfortunately, they do have to be 18 or over. So yes, it's the, hey, kid, go ride some carnival rides so we can borrow your parents. But it's still, but it's a good time of that and everything else, Friday night they do the fajitas, and that's where I always thought that you would sing is everything else. It's close to your beloved tacos.
Yes.
So, but there's also many different categories and everything else that we can always use. And they're talking about our cook-off chairmans, Ryan Smith and Lion Justin West this year, and talking about shaking it up a little bit, adding another entry. And so if they could add another entry or category, what do you think it should be?
Into the food?
Into the food.
Man, so
for the teams.
So they already have fajitas, you said?
They do. Beef and chicken fajitas on Friday night, and a salsa contest as well. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, salsa contest?
Yes. So Friday night is that Tex-Mex feel.
That's tricky.
And then Saturday goes into the beef.
Because you don't know who the judges are, and you don't know how spicy. So we did a taco cook-off competition, right? Our taco cook-off.
I know.
It went great. We partnered with United Way, and fortunate for us, Chris Delisandri, he has done a ton of barbecue cook-offs. So he's like, I've never heard of a taco cook-off. Has that ever been done? We're like, I don't know. No, it hasn't. So we kind of came up with the formula for him. But that's one thing we told our participants, like, you don't know the judges, the spice level, keep all that in mind. One thing that we added for our tacos was seafood. A seafood category.
Nice.
So that might be fun if you, even for fajitas, if you had like seafood fajitas, you could do like shrimp or some other stuff in there, or lobster, whatever they want to do.
So there was one suggestion, and we'd love to see what your followers would think and everything else. I'd encourage them to comment. One said do an open entry and they can make anything they wanted as long as it contained bacon. So the categories is obviously it's a cook-off. They are using grills, so it has to be done on a grill and with bacon. So if you want to do a bacon peach cobbler, you could have a peach cobbler. If you wanted to do a filet wrapped in bacon, you could. Jalapeno poppers, as long as they were wrapped in bacon. They could. Any type of thing you wanted, whether sweet or savory, as long as it contained bacon.
That's amazing.
So that's one that's been throwing around. But it's kind of an open. But we'd love to see what people would think that we needed to add for this coming year, for our 66th year of doing
66
it.
years.
66 years.
So if you're watching on Facebook, kind of go ahead and what would you like to see? If there was a food judging category, I think the bacon idea is money. Because it's an open category, so it's creative as you want to be. It could be, like you said, a cobbler, or you can put, wrap, anything in bacon, really, and it's good. Just makes it better.
One of the teams, they do, because we have our Best of Show, and they go all out. Is one of the amazing teams. The Pizzelles, Johnny's Place, does a phenomenal, and so they do appetizers, and so they bring out the seafood for that part, and so there'll be bacon wrapped shrimp and all sorts of different things and stuff. So that I think if we did a bacon open, I think that they probably would be a top contender.
Oh yeah, 100%. I am down with that idea. Bacon. Right now it's 9:25. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. I'm hanging out and talking to the League City Lions. Have Melaine in studio, and we are talking to Greg Grapont. You're a second-generation Lion, and your son, Justin, who is in Paris right now, he's a third generation.
And my daughter, Ashley, is a third generation.
Her as well. What does that mean to you to have your kids kind of go through that same path that you've been on as well?
My father and I had a special bond, and now having my kids involved in Lions Club, we have this really special bond. And, what Lions is about is us giving back to the community. And growing up, we would go to the camp in Kerrville. We have a Lions camp there. And kids are able to go to this camp that have a special need or diabetic. And it's wonderful seeing these kids that normally wouldn't get to go to a camp. And they're there with their peers and just having the time of their life for a week without mom and dad around. And it's really special. But we also do so many other things in our local community. Kids that need glasses, that can't afford a pair of glasses. We do their eye exam and give them a pair of glasses. It's wonderful.
That's awesome. Glasses are expensive.
They are. It's a great program that Lions International supports and encourages all the different states and districts and clubs to participate in. And so just recently, a group of 8 of our members went in and became state certified to do vision screenings. So both on the traditional eye chart as well as a spot vision. We partnered with some other clubs in our local area, and we actually have, with the KHEA Club, a vision trailer to be able to pick up and go to schools or community events and do that spot vision training or the traditional eye charts, everything else. So that's one vision of the program. To give a shout out to one of our other clubs in the area, the Bay Cliff, which is Bayside in San Leon. They are amazing in what they do for Dickinson ISD of their training. They also are at Lighthouse Ministries the second and fourth Tuesday of every month doing vision screening for seniors and giving vouchers for glasses. But they go into the schools, into the Dickinson schools, and do all of the vision screening for those students and anyone who is marked that may have a vision issue. Then they get referred out to an optometrist. What we've done, and we're looking to expand ours, is we work with the CCISD school district with the nurses. And so when the nurses are doing their basic eye charts and they say, little Johnny or little Susie are struggling with that, we then refer them to one of our local optometrists to go and get the screening, and then we cover the cost of those glasses. And I believe it's 6 children a month that we pay for their glasses, and they're basic. They're the frames for them. But we also will do, as it's reached out, seniors that come and that need them and help them and everything else. One of the big things post Harvey was there's a massive grant that if you lost your glasses or your contacts because during the storm, it was no questions asked. We immediately handed them a voucher for them to be able to go get new glasses.
Wow. Is the League City Lions, is y'all's cause and focus, is it mainly kids?
No. See, that's one of those things. Although it's a great and dear to our heart and it is a big component, it's only one. Our cause is community, and really it's all facets of the community, everything else. Like I said, every month we're feeding seniors, different things of that. Yesterday we had a great program, a speaker related to type 1 diabetes and everything else. So that's one of the earmark things. Disaster relief, we were on the forefront. We're really excited. Our club is working with our district to bring a disaster relief trailer that's going to be stationed in our area. So, in the unforeseeable future, if an event happens again, that we have any kind of large disaster, or even a small one, that they can reach out to all the Lions clubs in our area. And so that's when we're saying our area, it's, that Galveston County area, that we can mobilize quickly and have a trailer that's already full of all the cleaning supplies and everything to get started and get out there to be able to help. So it's really one of our favorite taglines, and it's the near and dear to my heart is where there's a need, there's a lion. So it's whatever the need is, we're there to help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they are all over. It says Lions International there on the patch.
We are. So believe it or not, Indonesia has the largest amount of Lions clubs in the world for a country. India is, I believe, close second, followed by China. So although it started in 1912 is when Lions started by Melvin Jones in Chicago. So it started in the United States. A year later, the first international convention happened in the great state of Texas. So Texas is multiple District 2. They gave Illinois 1 because that's where our founder's from. It's the international aspect of it ends up having far more clubs than actually what United States has. In that first year, Canada came on board, and so the following year in Dallas, Texas, when we had that convention, it was a true international convention because we had Canada on board by then.
So in 1912, whenever it was started in Illinois, was the cause always community, or has that vision? I know sometimes over the years things change, but was it always, hey, where there's a need, we're there, I'm going to help?
Absolutely. So Melvin Jones had this vision. He was in some other organizations and he loved them, and he said, but it seemed to be a network, a big brother network where we went, okay, you sell tires while I do roofing and we can help each other out. And he said, but we can do more and we should be doing more. And he said, we should be taking, because we're fortunate enough, pulling our resources and helping our community. And so that's where it came on. And then early on in that mission, Helen Keller went into a convention full of men and said, we want you to make vision forefront. And so that's where that started, was Helen Keller brought to our attention and said, we need your assistance. Be Princes for the Blind. And so that partnership with World Vision and all of our different programs, there's the Texas Lions Eye Bank, which is a partnership with Baylor, that we do cornea transplants, so beyond just glasses, everything else. So, there's the Gates Foundation that helps us with the river blindness. And so that was one of the amazing things. when they were looking for an organization to partnership, they loved the visibility of all of our clubs, of the service that we do, and and how we're able to track it, and how much of all of our the money raised in the community goes back into the community. And they said, we want to partner with you on this mission. And so, we go into a lot of those different third world nations and do measles vaccinations. The reason for that is one of the side effects of measles is vision problems, of blindness. So they go and do that, and the lives saved, I believe it said, from that part is it's 3 people a day get saved because of the work that we do with those vaccinations and everything else.
You mentioned Helen Keller. Yeah. My son this morning told me that he learned something in school. He said, "Hey, I learned something in school yesterday." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Well, Helen Keller." We learned about Helen Keller. I said, "What'd you learn?" He's like, "Well, she was born like a long time ago, like in the 19s." He was like, "I think it was like 1988." No joke. He told me, I think he's 7. He's like, "It was like a long time ago, like in the 19s, like 1988." And then he shared a story, something about a cow, and I don't know. I was like, "I'm not sure. I don't remember that one, but at least you're paying attention. You're catching some stuff."
It was scary for a moment. Last year, there was this rumor that Texas wanted to take Helen Keller out of the education system. And as Lions, we said, no, that can't happen. And so it went out, email blasts went out to clubs, to presidents and secretaries, and said, we cannot allow Helen Keller to be removed from the school education. And so letters went out to the state, and thousands of letters went out from every line saying Helen Keller is important. She needs to be talked about, and vision and blindness, and that awareness needs to still be taught in the schools. And so we were excited when we found out that they changed their mind. And so that's one of those things where, like, no, Helen Keller is an important topic, and she needs to still be recognized and taught.
Yeah, there's awareness that can be spread there. And,
definitely.
It gets, my son talking about it, asking questions, and just curious about things. And I always try and, at a young age, even younger than my son is now, just try and show the importance of giving back.
Yeah.
Sure. Hey, there's so much that we are fortunate and blessed with, and and we have to be thankful, but you can always give back. And that's a way that anybody in the community, how can somebody join the Lions?
Well,
so speaking of that, we meet the first and third Tuesday at noon at Red River Barbecue. And if you're interested in giving back, we'd love to have you at our meeting. Just come. And
do you have to be invited, or you can just come?
I'm inviting you now.
Okay,
it's an open invitation. So no, we always welcome people just to walk in. Everything else, a lot of times we have people who have gotten lost, and they come into the room and they're like, "Oh, what is this?" And we're like, "Well, this is our club meeting. Please sit down, have lunch on us."
Yeah.
But and we're a family organization. So we have our Leo's program. That's our youth division, where they're actually they are members. They start tracking their service. They're learning how to be leaders in their community, of creating their own budgets for projects and doing their own fundraising and everything else. But for the little ones, we have our Cubs program. So it starts, so it starts early. We have young kids who come out and everything else. We have Corey Thomas's little youngest daughter who comes out. We got her an extra small vest. She's already collecting her pins and everything else. So if we go and travel to different things out of the state, we bring her back different Lions pins from all over and everything else. But when she is not there, the seniors notice, because she is an expert on getting them to eat their yogurt. She doesn't ask them if they want a yogurt. She goes, "Which flavor would you like?" So they are going to have yogurt, and she passes it around. And when she's not there, she is missed. They want to know, is she going to be there? Why isn't she there? Is she okay? And will she be there next month? And she is now in she's in first grade this year. So, and she's been there and serving as soon as she could walk.
Wow.
So, her older sister is a senior, Taylor, and so she has been there since 9 years old, I think, is when she started volunteering and everything else. So we find projects, no matter what the age is, and find a way to get involved, because really helping the community is one of the best things that you can do.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I noticed in some of the conversation you talk about working with some of the other clubs, even giving them shout outs. Is it, I don't know, because sometimes it's not easy to work with other organizations. I mean, I understand y'all are all part of the Lions, but even still, there's different leaders. Like I'm sure there's other presidents like the other ones. So how is it maintaining those relationships to where it's easy to work with other people in the same area?
It's one of those things that we all do things a little bit different, or different have our different expertise. So League City, we're fortunate enough to have two clubs. So we have the League City Lions. We're the founding club. They nickname us the Noon Club because we meet at lunchtime at noon. And then there's the League City Evening Club. We both are obviously love barbecue, and so they're the second and fourth Tuesday in the evening at 6 o'clock at Spring Creek Barbecue. So we're Red River in the heart of League City, and they're at the League City Dickinson Edge at Spring Creek. But not everybody can make a lunchtime meeting. We have an hour-long meeting in transit. They're not able to be away for about an hour and a half, when you include the travel. And so you go and have lunch with them. They, hands down, are awesome at doing food booths, of putting out, of working a grill and things like that. And so that's their big project. They'll be at Holiday in the Park for that. They are great with senior centers. They work with Baywind for a holiday trick-or-treating event every year, things and stuff. So they do things different. It's not that either one club is better or anything else, but we love to support them. They're going to be out at our breakfast for dinner as well. I think they're going to be doing some games with us. So anytime that we can bring more of them. The Bay Cliff Club, amazing and everything else. They just had a spaghetti dinner recently. They let me make the garlic bread. It was a fun time. So they do things. They're going to be doing, they host the Bay Cliff Christmas parade. And that'll be the day before the League City one. So what is that? The December 6th, the Friday evening, is the Bay Cliff parade. And they give out stuffed animals to all the children, things like that. They participate in, the Bay Cliff has a Halloween parade, and they were giving out treats. I got to come out and be a part of that. So it's always an encouragement to bring those clubs together, because, what one club may be able to do a little, but when you partner them together, you can get a lot done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Have to remember the cause.
Absolutely, it is.
It's just easy to get a little competitive, I have found, and so it's always trying to remember, what's the cause, what's the goal.
It can, because we all give donations to our different pivotal areas and everything else, and like we talked about the camp, and so there's the Harvey Wickersham golf tournament. And so you can buy holes and everything else. And so there's always a competition of which district ends up bringing in the most money. And so we are proud to say that District 2S4, which is what we're a part of, what holds the title this year. And our club was had the second most holes purchased for that year.
In the district?
In the district.
Who else is in the district?
Oh my goodness. We Victoria, Ganado, Edna, I'm trying to think of else. Bay City.
That's a large area.
We are a massive district. Sugarland's in our district. We hop around. Believe Brenham is. So it's a huge district. So I believe there's 73 or 76 clubs in it. Brazosport has 3 or 4 clubs in it. Everything else. So we go they're all over.
Yeah. How many members are in the Lions, League City Lions right now?
In the League City Lions, we have 53 members in the adult program, and I believe there's 56 in the Leo's program. So our youth division actually has edged out and is slightly larger than us.
So it goes Cubs, Leos, and Lions.
Yes.
So you can start them very young.
And
then just go up from there.
Oh, absolutely.
Have those, Mr. Grippon, have those always been in? Whenever you were growing up, was there a no?
No.
So that's something new, just to kind of get it.
Well,
you're there anyways.
Yes and no.
It's been around. It's just not in League City.
So
okay.
The interesting history of it is there were Leos before there were women.
Okay.
So so in that we had a ladies program in it and everything else, but the Leos, the youth program started before that.
Before the Lady Lions?
Before the yes.
I've had some of them in before. The Houston Lady Lions, they've come in and they've done some stuff actually out in Bay Cliff, rebuilding some houses.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're great. Their president, interesting enough, lives in Lake City.
Yeah.
But she works in Houston, and so for her, it's easier to go to meetings in Houston and everything else. They're a great group.
That's cool. It's interesting to see these organizations that have been around for years.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Victoria is celebrating their 95th year. Wow. Texas City Lions, I believe, just celebrated their 80th anniversary. You know, it's great. The Evening Club just celebrated 51 years. We actually sponsored them. So in order for an area to get a club, they need 20 interested people and then a club that's already established to sponsor them.
Right.
So then after we sponsored them, then they eventually actually sponsored the KHEA Club. So that's where we talk about, you know, the potential of competition. There's still more of a camaraderie because we know we can't help everybody, and so, you know, if we can bring another club into existence, then amazing and great.
Yeah, and so when you say sponsor, just kind of gives the stamp of approval, like, hey, I'm going to mentor to make sure that they get this started in a successful manner.
And generally, you help with the upfront costs that are associated with starting a club, things like that.
Cool. All right, so right now we have about 12 minutes left. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. We're going to be talking with the Lake City Lions till 10 o'clock, and we're chatting about everything that's going on. Can we remind people, because November 30th, there's something cool going on, and then after that, can we touch on the breakfast for dinner?
Absolutely. Well, we're basically almost, it seems like every week starting on November 30th, there's something going on. So November 30th at Lake Park, we will be putting up the Christmas tree in the gazebo, and as we're saying, there will be carolers led by one of our Leos, hot chocolate, cookies, and we invite everyone to come out and help us decorate, sing, and start that holiday season going. And then we lead right up into Holiday Park, where we're going to be out there. We're going to have 2 booths. The Leos, I believe, are going to be doing some games. We're going to have some giveaways for the kids with information, everything else. We'll be in the parade with 2 different floats. So that for that weekend. But to actually jump back on December 1st will be our December senior breakfast, 7:30 at Hometown Heroes. And so from then go to Holiday in the Park. If you haven't had your holiday fill, then you come out on December 20th to our holiday breakfast for dinner community event, where at 6:30 p.m. Hometown Heroes, where we'll have a full breakfast spread and games, prizes. We have door prizes. We're giving away a television. We're giving away a family 4-pack to the Railroad Museum in Galveston, including a ride. I believe there's a spa package. There's gift cards, all sorts of things that the only way how you win is show up and get a ticket.
Cool.
It's a completely free event. Pictures with Santa and Frosty the Snowman and Leo the Lion, all sorts of different arts and crafts for the kids. So lots of different things going on in there.
Yeah, you mentioned November 30th. There's only 30 days in November, right?
Yes.
So there's an event, and then December 1st, y'all are back at it again.
We are, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. How much time does it take? You know, realistically, I don't know if there's like a busier season because there's stuff going on year round. But like, how many hours a week do you need to kind of compartmentalize? You know, this is what I'm going to be doing.
Well, I'm also a Lake City councilman, so you think her schedule's busy? Oh, mine. I won't be home any night.
Yeah.
In December.
You just on the go.
Go.
The amount of time is based off of the different position or committee that you sit on and your willingness to serve.
Yes.
Some people may be able to give an hour a month. Some people may give 10 hours a day. It all depends on what you're able. So it's one of those things that some people go, oh, I really don't have enough time, or I'm handicapped, or I'm just too old. There's always something. The Lake City Evening Club had this wonderful lion. Her name was Lion Nancy, who was 85 years old, and her service project was was something that when she ended up retiring and leaving, was greatly missed. Twice a month, the day before the meeting, she would call all the members and remind them that we were having a meeting. That was her service. That was her way of just saying, hey, hope you're doing well and hope to see you at our meeting tomorrow. So there's always a project for somebody and something to do based off of your specific talents and skills and everything else.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of the League City Council, last night I guess there was a meeting last night.
We did.
And I shared out the city of League City government's official page. They put out, it's Tristan Pearson. He's a gentleman, a young man. He goes to to Ball High in Galveston, and he was awarded, just being honored and recognized for the work that he's doing. I had him in studio, him and his teacher, and I'd been talking to his mom, but raising awareness for epilepsy, seizures and stuff. So I saw that. I shared it out. I thought that was really cool because he's a strong young man, and he's doing some work, and his family is very supportive, and I thought that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. Getting to work with our youth program and seeing that we have talented and amazing youth in our area, and the projects and the things that they do, are humbling. They make me go, okay, you know what? I could need to step my game up and do more because they have the best hearts and can do amazing things.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we had a karaoke contest Thursday night at our music festival, and the kids were better than the adults. So this year we're separating the adults and kids.
Divisions?
Yes. So 2 different stages with 2 different
That's
divisions and everything else. And I mean, it was amazing. The children of the carnival workers were there, and they were phenomenal. I mean, I couldn't believe the talented kids there. Your godson, what is his name? Keegan was phenomenal. He came in second place of it. I mean, it was a hard decision on who was going to win, but he was very talented. I believe like his backup sound went off, but he still
kept going.
He kept going, and I was just like, I probably would have ran off crying. I mean, but he was like this professional, and he's
cool.
a young boy. You know, it was great.
So were some of the lions the judges?
No, we stayed out of it. We brought in Clinton Chase Stockdale as well as Chuck from what was Chuck Sports Bar Memorabilia. So Clinton Chase did an open mic night at a local event center, and then Chuck. And so we said, let the professionals do it, because we didn't want to make that tough decision. We said, let someone else do it. So no, it was a great event.
Was performance taken into account, like in the judging? Like, okay, you can sing perfect, but is there some like showmanship?
I think so. Okay. I think it was. I mean, we really kind of left it up to them, but it was a hard decision. There were some really talented people. Our community, our area has some talented performers. I was really sad. I was waiting for you. I mean, because I've seen some of your videos. I mean, we teased and talked when I came out last time that you were going to be there.
So I was going to say, like, okay, singing wise, I can hold a tune. I'm not like the best singer. I wish I was a better singer, working at it. But performance-wise, I can get up there and jump around and act a fool. That's what I was asking.
Well,
like, is performance taken into account?
So, one of the big things that they talked about was, our cook-offs. Like, we miss when the stage was out in between the midway and the cook-off, and we went, there's a need for that, and if we put in a second stage up, we could probably do some more community performances and different things like that. And you keep saying that you want to MC and you want to be a part of it, and so we were like, maybe we could have him help us with that second stage.
I am down to do everything and anything I can do.
But
I'm down.
If we allow you to MC, you have to do at least one performance for us, too.
I can sing a song. I'll do something.
All right.
What's your song?
Stay tuned. I have a catalog. No, like, I understand. So here's the thing, and I've been to a ton of karaoke nights and karaoke events. I have never sang karaoke because There's lots of reasons, but I just haven't. And so I've done, I grew up playing music in church, leading and behind just instruments. And then I've done my own bands. I've traveled all over the United States, with my groups playing music. And I have never done karaoke. But there's lots of reasons why, but I need to find the perfect song. And if I did, I'd pick like one of my own that I wrote. But there's no perfect. Maybe I find a track or something. I'm like, but nobody would know it. Just like me, and I don't know. So I don't have a song. Have y'all done karaoke, and do y'all have songs?
I'm a solo performer, and that's the solo nobody can hear me. I'm that background person, and I don't dance very well, so I'm the person who's just bopping and mouthing peas. Was it peas and carrots? If you say peas and carrots,
it looks like
you're singing. It looks like you fit, but nobody will ever hear me. And that's a good thing for everyone involved. So no, I'm a supporter of the arts.
There you go.
I put lots of time, energy, and excitement and occasionally money into the arts, and that's where it needs to stay.
Yeah.
So,
do you have a song?
So my dad was an Aggie singing cadet.
Okay, that's awesome.
Incredible voice he had. I did not get it.
Oh.
But your son loves the karaoke.
Justin
and
does.
And
what's his go-to? Does he have a go-to song
Disney
or a style?
songs.
He likes Disney.
Loves Disney.
Like Aladdin?
He's the biggest kid.
I feel like Aladdin and like the Lion King. Like, you grew up in those
Lion
songs,
King.
and they're amazing songs. Like Disney puts out, like even like the Frozen soundtrack. My kids are young and they watch it, and so I'm just sitting there and like I'm singing the song too, maybe even louder than they are. But they're amazing songs.
I was told to stop singing. They said, "Let it go," and you just can't sing, sweetie.
Oh man!
But no, his son. We nicknamed him Simba.
Yeah.
He's and last year I got him every character for his Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And everything else. But yes, he's obsessed with Disney and especially Lion King.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. So Disney Plus, like they just released their new streaming service last week, like in the middle of the week, and so my wife got it. Yeah, but you can go back and watch some of these movies that are in the Disney Vault. They're released. Like you can go watch the originals and stuff that aren't out, usually. So it's pretty neat. All right, we got about 4 minutes left. Is there anything else that y'all would like to share?
Speaking of the Disney, Justin's in Paris, so you know where he ended up. Disneyland Paris.
Disney Paris?
Yes.
That's awesome. Man.
It will always be Euro Disney to me. I don't know. I was there when it opened, and so it's I was like, Euro? No, it's not that anymore, but yes.
Because they have multiple now, I'm sure.
I don't know. I think they just rebranded it.
Yeah.
But back when it started, and so it will still be in my heart, was actually there was another amusement park just outside of Paris. It was Big Bang Schrumpf, which is Smurfs. So it was the Smurf amusement park. And
That's
then
cool.
And then Euro Disney. So
wow. Before we started, one of my coworkers came in and we were talking about the Disney Plus app because what else would we be talking about? Of course.
Sure.
He was like, you have it? I said, yes, we have it. He said, you need to watch something called The Imagineers. And I said, what is it? He said, it's about Walt Disney recruiting the right people to produce the parks because before Disney World and Disneyland, there was nothing like that. The closest was a carnival where, you think of a carnival has a different vibe than you think of like Disneyland.
Oh, definitely.
And so he needed to find the right people and architects and visionaries to draw and produce this because he's like, no, that's not it. That's not it. So The Imagineers on Disney Plus is a documentary on that, which I'm stoked to go and watch and learn about that because, there's visionaries that create something that's never been done before. That's pretty big. And he we're still talking about it today.
Oh, nice.
And Justin's out there in Paris.
He is.
Enjoying it. That's cool.
I know.
That is cool. So, the League City Lions, again, November 30th, you can go out to the tree raising. And then the event on December 20th, you can also go to the breakfast for dinner, which was one of my favorite things growing up.
Oh,
I don't know. I think it was just because it was easy. But either way, I always looked forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
Again, thank you guys for hanging out and joining us.
Oh, thank you. Enjoy the muffins. And
Thank you. Those are all for me?
Those are all for you.
Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
welcome.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break on the FM. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.
Patriot Team.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, and let me know anything I can do, and I'll probably contact y'all for whenever we get through the holiday season, and
Absolutely.
I'll bring y'all back as much as I want. We talk about League City Music Festival
Sure.
and all
That'd
that.
be great.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Probably right after the first of the year, we'll make start our round of making announcements of the the lineup.
Teasing the lineup?
So
The mics are on, so don't say they're still on. So don't say anything that. Yeah, just a reminder, because I know sometimes.
Oh yeah,
nope.
I know. So
actually, okay, the mics are off. Now go ahead.
I'll text it to you. But so we'll get that started. We're just right now. It's still in the middle of getting the websites redone and up. So once those are live, then we'll start the registrations and getting that out there, and then we'll make our big announcement of that.
Cool.
And it'll be headlining Friday night, Grady.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Love to come on
I'm ready.
in January.
Okay.
So great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Yeah, let me know if there's anything else I can do.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll see you soon.
All right. What's up, Facebook fam? Hopefully y'all are doing good. I got all these muffins. I'm going to try and share them with my friends from the Moore Memorial Public Library who are in studio. They brought all of these for me. That's nuts. Oh, wait. I got my friends locked out. I'll be right back.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello. So look, they brought me all these. Do y'all want some?
Sure.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. I'll have to take one for the road.
I thought that, I
Very
thought
nice.
they were gonna give me one. I was like, sweet. And then they were like, enjoy your muffins. I was like, muffins.
Floral.
All of these. Let me show you guys. Let me do this.
Oh my God.
This is a lot. These look good.
They do. They do. They look amazing.
So what's been going on?
Well, we have been doing some popping up. This last weekend, we were at the St. George's Episcopal Church Hope Festival and did a pop-up library there.
Mm-hmm.
Last month, we did Touch a Truck, and we're going to be doing another one. So we've been trying to really, we miss everyone. We miss having a library. But you know what they say? Have library, will travel. Except they don't say that, but we're doing it anyway. Popping up everywhere we can.
Yeah.
We miss people.
So
Yeah.
Touch a Truck. I was there. There was so much stuff going on, including all of the horns ever, and
Yes.
it was a lot. And so I was looking for y'all. I don't think I saw y'all, and then I was looking for Chef Jimmy, and I couldn't find him either.
Yeah.
But I did eat. I ate like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I had some Hey Mikeys, and then I had some barbecue and everything else. But I was there. I thought I walked all the way down. I was like, this never ends.
It was
Yeah.
so much
Kept
fun.
going. Where were y'all at?
Right in the middle near the school bus and the huge Mack truck that was America Furniture. What's that new
Yes.
company out on 45?
Yes.
Yeah, right behind them next to the baby food people.
So if you were okay,
So in the middle.
y'all were in the middle.
You're right.
Yeah.
In the middle. The food was a little further down.
Yeah.
Down by the police.
Yeah.
and stuff,
So
so.
I walked by that, and I missed y'all
You
somehow.
missed us.
But here's
Well, we had a traffic jam. We had like kids
'Cause the
that
school
doing
bus.
playtime. Well, no, we had our own traffic jam.
Okay.
It was we had kids with playing with the truck mat
Mm-hmm.
and all our different little toys that we had out there. We had people asking us about what the library renovations, looking at our binder of pictures, and we had some people checking out books. We had some sign-ups for library cards. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
So I thought that traffic jam was because of the school bus, and I was kind of concerned. I was like, don't these kids get on? Like, some of them ride the bus to school. Some of them are going on field trips. Are they not taking kids on field trips anymore? Maybe that traffic jam was because of y'all.
Yeah.
Because I was like going around. I was like, why is there so many? And I didn't even think about it. And here's the other thing with the food. I thought the food was going to all be together, and I was like, oh, here's the food. Oh, they don't have that much. And then like I kept going, and I was like, there's more food. But they
Yeah.
had it like food at every
Intersection.
100 feet. Yeah.
They handled it really well, because what happens when you just have a food area, you just have a huge jam that no one can get around.
Yeah.
And it just stops everything. So it's either all at the front and you can't get through it, or it's all at the end and you can't get out of it. But they always handle it really well by like having food every so often, so you can walk through and see everything. You stop and get something and the lines are shorter, and people can actually get through.
Yes.
It's one of the largest. We don't know for sure that it's the largest touch a truck in the nation, but it's one of the largest. But I'll say hands down, it's the best run. I mean, we always
Yeah.
have every year just tens of thousands of people going through, but like 10-minute lines. I mean, that's just insanely short. If
I
at
took
the most.
selfies with like every vehicle.
Yes. And it's getting bigger. So it was
Yeah.
bigger than last year. So
Yep.
it's still stretching out, and there's still more room for it to grow.
Yeah.
Is the thing. And, it was a great time. I enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it. It was fun.
And the early time, the 10 a.m. spot was for the sensory, was with less horns and things like that. So that was nice and wonderful.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yes.
I missed that part. But yeah, there was a lot of horns. My kids got in there. They were like honking some horns too, and I was like, they're having fun. That's all that matters. They're, everyone's
That's
okay.
the big thing.
But just there was that one truck, and it was Roland Republic Barbecue was right next to them, and there was one truck that had the loudest horn I've ever heard in my entire life, and it was like, it must be one of the ones where they do it from the top.
Oh yeah.
It scared me every time. I was just like, oh my god! I was like, keep going. We're not. I love Roland Republic, but we're not eating there.
Next year is some earplugs.
Yeah, we'll have to get library branded earplugs for people.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we brought you some swag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Our
I'm
library
excited.
tote.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Our read more, learn more, do more.
Thank you. You know what? I am going to need
And some pins.
and some pens. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna need these bags to put all my muffins in.
Yeah. You'll be the muffin man.
Call me the muffin man.
And you can give one to Casper, the missing host.
The missing host. Rest in peace.
Yep.
I will. Thank you. I'm going to share this. I'm going to put this in our Texas City group. I love Facebook and groups. So if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this out. Let me know what you got going on. I'm going to say talking to the library right now.
All right.
10 o'clock.
And Jessica's going to be popping up again this weekend.
Yes.
Where at?
At the Texas City Garden Club. They're hosting their 48th annual holiday gift shop over at the Nestler Center.
Okay.
And so we're going to be there. We've curated a whole bunch of holiday books and popular titles for people to check out. And what they've told me was they have over 28 vendors attending.
Wow.
They're going to have their bake sale, their plant sale, and things like that. And these are a lot of our usual patrons. So we're super excited to see them again. But we've got like loads of, well, not a huge amount of boxes of books, but a whole bunch of different things that we think they'll like out there.
Yeah. That's a lot of vendors.
Yeah.
28 vendors
28
is a
vendors
lot.
is huge. I was amazed. I was
Yeah.
like, holy cow. But they've been doing this, so as it says, 48th annual.
And that's at the Nestler Center?
That is at the Nestler Center.
And it's a great idea for a gift shop because, we all just every Christmas get so much stuff. But, plants aren't just stuff. It's calming, it's rejuvenating, it's great to have around the house or outside the house. So it's and they have all sorts of other gifts as well.
They keep on giving.
Yes.
The plants?
Yes.
Yes. And so it's a great thing. And we love having these pop-up events because people will be able to sign up for library cards or renew their library card and check out with us. And it's a great thing to be able to do before we can reopen. The Garden Club is going to be...
They're going to be actually sponsoring some plants in front of the library when we open.
That's awesome.
Stuff, so
Does that mean they have to maintain it?
Uh-huh.
That's what I would ask. Like, come back and keep this alive.
keep this alive, because if not, they would...
Yeah.
If I had to take care of it, I have a black thumb as well. I kill aloe vera. I kill cactuses.
Yeah.
Hey, we need to switch it on the FM real quick. Here we go.
All right.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:06, and we are talking to the Moore Memorial Public Library. We have our friends in studio. We're going to be learning about all of the renovations, some of the events that we've already gone through, and what we're about to get into right now, and when can we expect to get back in the library. So good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey.
Fantastic. Hey.
Fantastic.
I'm glad y'all are here. And what I've learned so far before going on the FM is that y'all have been popping up all over the place.
Pop.
Even in studio here today, which I am excited about. So where have y'all popped up so far? Since the library's been closed, how many pop-ups have y'all been doing?
Well, this will be the third coming up this Saturday. And we had never done a pop-up before. We did Touch a Truck. That was our pilot pop-up. And we were so excited that now we were, okay, where can we do this again? And such. So now it's looking for more opportunities for pop-ups where we know that our patrons are going to be, where we can also share our service, not just, our library books and things like that, but what services we're going to have. We can be like, hey, when we have our renovations, look at all these exciting things we're going to be doing, and the space that's going to be available to the patrons and stuff. So now it's okay. Where can we go next and
Yeah.
such? But with that, it was the Hope Festival for
St.
the,
George's Episcopal Church Hope Festival we did last Saturday, and that was wonderful. I did about 9 story times for the kids out there and lost my voice for the
man.
rest of the day. But it was fun. It was worth it. It's great doing that, and we're doing one this weekend.
This weekend is at the Texas City Garden Club, their holiday shop over at the Nestler Center. That's going to start at 9:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. We'll be out there with a table talking about renovations, talking about sign up for library cards. We have a whole bunch of holiday books,
That's
holiday
a long time.
romance. Those are super popular. Some of our also bestsellers that have been out that people have missed because we haven't been open and such. So,
You know, when it comes to the pop-ups, was it more work than y'all thought, or less work, or about what y'all planned for?
We'd done events. We'd done Hunter Truck last year, and we had hoped for that to be our first pop-up library, but the technology just didn't work as we had practiced it. So we had library services, but not library checkout. And this was the first year we were able to make it successful. So we had a dry run with a few things like that. And it's just a commitment we've taken to being out in the public more. We're doing a lot of outreach where we're going and giving talks with people and telling them about library services or a specific library program or initiative we're pushing. So we've really increased our outreach in the last 18 months, gearing up for this renovation while we've been closed for it. So we've had some practice. So we were pleasantly surprised that it was what we thought it would be.
Yeah.
We were actually prepared for it, and and our group did. And I have the best library staff in the world, hands down, and so they're amazing with unexpected change anyway. So I think it's just hard to catch us unexpected.
and then once we got it together, of course, for Touch a Truck, now it's like, oh, we need to take this and this and this, and we have our to-go bag, and so here's our outreach bag, and let's go.
Yep.
Cool. It's nice when things work the way they're supposed to, and it's sometimes a surprise, but it's like everything worked. There's no issues.
The hotspot, we could log in.
Yeah.
It worked out. So whenever the library does reopen, which we'll touch on that later, are y'all hoping to do more of these pop-ups occasionally?
100%. Our goal is to try to have some sort of outreach event at least one a month. Now, it won't always be a pop-up library. Sometimes it'll be one of us going out and giving a speech or presentation to a group about a specific initiative, program, or services. And, of course, we've been in the schools for TCISD doing story times. We're going to continue that year-round. That's in addition. We want to really transform our outreach model as much as we transform the inside of the library. And we're looking to do that so that we can staff that year-round. And we've got some exciting ideas of way to make that happen because, there's only so many of our staff members, but Jessica's been designing an amazing volunteer program for us that we're going to launch in January that'll help make that possible year-round.
So that's going to be a new volunteer
100%
program?
new.
Yes. So, yeah, with that is a whole pilot program. I know you've actually talked to, I believe, at the Helen Hall. I did want to do a shout-out for London over there because he is their volunteer program
coordinator, I think.
And he developed, they had a volunteer program, but he's really taking it up a notch and such. And so he graciously sat down with me and went through his research and what he's been developing. And then so we're, taking that.
Stealing it.
No, he graciously gave me.
Yes, he did.
We're borrowing.
Yeah, we're
borrowing. And continuing with that and then assessing our community needs and also interests and things like that and building from there. So right now it is developing the program, getting people who are interested. So if anyone wants to be on my mailing list for interest in knowing just when the volunteer program is going to be up, how to apply, what kind of tasks and things like that, they can definitely email me at jmatos@texascitytx.gov. But they can message us on Facebook, so that might be the easiest way. They just send us a message on Facebook because we'll be paying attention to that, and then it will get to me. And then also they can just give us a call at the library. My number, if anyone's interested right now, is 409-643-5974. And I'll put you on the mailing list. I'll also send you a nice greeting and just tell you where I'm at. So we're looking, some simple tasks starting out, but then building up into some major pilot programs with hopefully what I'm looking for is, volunteers also being library ambassadors.
Yes.
And things like that. Helping with programs, I'm also trying to build up a volunteer tutoring program. Helping with senior outreach, so a whole bunch of exciting things that we're developing. Story time team, because we have a lot of people who are really gifted and talented, or just interested in helping with our children's program and such. So also building that kind of team that could do extra story times. Our children's librarian has such a desire for outreach and being able to do the story times, but she only has so much time and such. So if we create a team and we could send out people to more locations and such, that's another pilot program in there for volunteers and things.
Yeah, I've asked her to physically be in more than one space in one time, but she refuses adamantly to break the laws of space and time. So we have to get other people involved as well.
Yeah.
And so, because as I've said, our goal is to do more, because that's our thing, is more Memorial Public Library, that we do more. Yeah, 2 O's in there, people. Love those ones. And so, the reason we haven't had an adult volunteer program in the past is it is counterintuitively takes a lot of work to get volunteers. And to train them and to set them up and to get it going and develop these kind of programs. And we just haven't had the right confluence of events to do it at the level we always wanted to do it. We didn't want to develop an adult volunteer program and then have them come in and just have them doing mundane, repetitive tasks. We will always have aspects of that, because all volunteering has aspects of that. But we wanted to be able to eventually build a volunteering program that was exciting for the volunteers as well, and where they had actual ownership of their roles.
And they feel engaged in the library and also the community and stuff. They feel that their work is being recognized and that they're making a difference and such. So.
And so with Jessica coming on staff, I knew that, this will be really easy then, because we can definitely make this happen. And so it was the perfect timing for it, because we're not on the desk 4 to 6 hours a day because we're not open, and so that 4 to 6 hours every time that
have
she can
been
work
lucky to have more time for research.
And so we'll be ready once we reopen to launch these pilots, and so it's really exciting because it's something that people have asked us for.
Just
the
haven't been able to
entire
launch it.
10 years I've been here, people have asked us, when are you going to have adult volunteers? You have teen volunteers. We want to do it too.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
Hey, that's really cool. So shout out to Helen Hall in London.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, definitely shout out to
shout
London.
out.
I had talked to him, and he was mentioning, his background, and I was like, so have you worked at a library before? No.
Nope.
No.
Are you a librarian? No. What's your background? And so we shared on that, and I was wondering, is it, you've touched on this before, working with other libraries and kind of just helping each other out, especially as y'all are closed. It seems like that's been easy to do, or they've been open to it.
Well, the thing is about librarians, we have a professional obligation to help future members of the profession, the public, and each other in professional development. So we're obligated to do it, but you don't ever have to say, hey, you're professionally obligated to help me here. People tend to be drawn to librarianship because they believe in the service mission, or else they don't stay librarians for very long, because it's not like it's the most glamorous position in the world.
Agree to disagree, but keep going.
But people do it because they want to, and because that's the attraction. Helping other people is the thing they want to do. And so it's very easy. And, you sometimes come into groups where you reach out to them and it's like, I'd love to help you, but I can't. And that's being responsible stewards of your institution. But it's almost always followed up with, I would contact this person, though. They may be a little... I've almost never met anyone said, I'd love to, I can't, who didn't even then say, but I do know of someone who might. I mean, so it becomes very easy if you have the time to reach out to do these things. And, we're developing a group now that's local archivists for the Galveston County area, our local history librarians. So they're going to have at least quarterly, if not greater, often meeting, so that all the archives in the area, museums, libraries, academic libraries, can come together and talk about archival issues and work on greater cooperation. So if nothing else, there's a better awareness of what all the archives physically hold, because sometimes you get the question of, do you have this? And it's like, we do not. I can help you insist in finding it. But it'd be better just to say, we do not. Who is here, who has it, and this is their hours, and this is where you can contact them. And so that's something we're excited about that's going to be happening in the next several months.
Cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, even though y'all are
Always.
closed.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's up with the renovations?
Renovations.
What is it
The
looking
renovation.
like in there? I'm imagining it's empty, but there's a bunch of people with construction hats like walking around
It's
like Bob the Builder.
very full because we kept our shelves and our books in
They're all
boxes there. So it's actually really close, tight quarters, but they've got walls up. They've got bathrooms being built. The flooring will go down soon. They knocked down the front sound barrier / storm walls.
Well, we've had tons of calls this past week, because now that the storm wall is down, everyone's seen lights on. So everyone's like, "Hey, are y'all open?"
It's
And we're like,
time.
"No, we're not open yet." But I see lights,
Yeah.
and we're like, "Wait, not yet." But it's already. I mean, that's a notice to how inviting it just really looks. We're like, "Ooh, you can see the front and the windows and the lights and things like that with that wall down."
Yeah, and so we're hoping to be open the third week in December, which is mid-December, if all things go well. And it's my personal goal to try to have a solid grand opening date by the end of the Thanksgiving holiday so that we can announce that. We're going to be in the Texas City Christmas Parade, and so we're hoping with our float we'll also have banners talking about our grand opening date. Now, that's all things being
When is it?
equal.
When is it?
knocking on wood, hoping things go the way we want them to.
Yes.
But that would be, if things go as according to plan, it will be sometime in the third week of December, 18th, 19th, 20th, sometime around that, depending on what day we pick, if things go the way they're supposed to. And we'll have an official grand opening date, hopefully, by the time of the Texas City Christmas Parade, which is going to be December 5th, which is a Thursday. So we're hoping that we can do a big announcement then in the parade and have a wonderful gift for the city of Texas City that, hey, we actually know when we're going to be back for sure, and do a big grand opening celebration. So that's our goal to reach, and we'll hopefully have that information by then. But that's the
Awesome.
fun thing about projects. If there's going to be a problem, it's often towards the very end. So we are doing everything we can to meet that date.
Very cool. Hey, I have a question, and I actually have a
Yeah.
book over here. I'm going to pull it over.
Fantastic. I love books.
Yes, as the director of the library.
I would hope so.
What are those?
So this book is called In the Altogether. It's by Taylor Johnson. He's from Dallas. He came in studio, and I've had him in studio before he wrote the book, and then he just released this book this year. He's actually watching on the stream, and that reminded me. I was like, he's not even local, but he's from Dallas, but he travels all over and speaks and does some really cool stuff, some events. What would somebody have to do to get their book inside of the library?
This is a really common question, and we have always believed, and my predecessor, Beth Riker Steiner, did this years ago. Our collection development policy is actually on our website so that you can read it all in full and get the full extent of it. And, all libraries pull from very similar collection development policies, which is notability of the author, reputation of the work itself, and that's done through reviews.
Okay.
And, representing, the community. So, like, for instance, if you have a, 40% Vietnamese speaking population, then you better have, a large Vietnamese language, collection, things like that. But it should be specifically outlined in your policy of why those are collected, what formats are collected. So that's all there. But when it comes to local authors, we try to have, if at all possible, that it's been reviewed somewhere. So it's not ever just our personal opinion saying, I read this, it's good.
Yes.
Let's put it in.
I read this, it's good. Let's put it in.
Okay. Now, if it's a
feel ya.
work on local history,
Yes.
then sometimes we will grab that even if it doesn't have any reviews, because there's frankly a huge gulf that's been written about certain areas in Gulf Coast history, and it's important to have it. And so we've done that before. But, when it comes to, we get that question a lot for local authors, hey, I'm local, I'd like to put it in the library. We still hope to have it be reviewed by any publication so that we can point to and say, yes, it's got a review. And, frankly.
So when you say publication, do you mean not like an Amazon review, but like a.
Yes. some sort of newspaper, local newspaper.
Gotcha.
Most of our reviews that we look at are actually professional journals.
Yes.
But we don't require that level for a local author because they're not going to be able to do that, and we don't want to put barriers up that are that strict.
Yes.
And we do give additional weight to local authors. Every library does, because you like to have your community reflected in your collection, and having a local author is a pretty one-to-one reflection. But there are some times we have to say for instance, there's a lot that local authors write a lot of poetry. But unfortunately, our poetry collection is
probably stacked,
packed full. So we need to get at least one review so that we can say, okay, yes, we did put this in here, which meant we didn't buy literally an award-winning work of poetry instead, because we wanted to reflect the community as well. But so we do sometimes have to say no to local authors, which is hard, because I want to say yes to all of them.
Right.
And we would if it was just an issue of price, because the books are often donated to us. But unfortunately, it's an issue of physical space. So we are looking at ways for our ebook collection.
That's cool.
So that, because there is a methodology in our ebook collection, we use Overdrive as the vendor for the purchasing of them, that where, authors can upload their works themselves. And, that's something we're going to be looking at in the new year, so that we could, do an announcement later on, so that, when we do have to say no to the physical book, we can tell them, okay, but all you have to do is load your digital copy right here, and it'll be available for our library patrons that way. And I know that's a disappointment, because, when you write a book and you put so much of yourself in, it means something to say, hey, and you can go look at the library. And we love that people think of us for that. But yeah, sometimes we have to say no, and it's really tough to do that to someone who's one of the community members, just because it just so happens to be on a subject that we just have over coverage of and no more space for.
Well, and there's some stuff that probably isn't appropriate, I imagine, and it would be difficult to read every book that somebody breeds in. That's why it's important to have those journals and those reviews, so that way I can read this review and okay, this is a publication that we trust and we stand by.
Absolutely.
And also we can see, this book is more fitting for maybe an academic setting.
Yes.
For researchers that would be maybe necessary for our collection, while we would be like, we'd love to have that, because it's this in-depth research of buildings, architecture, and such.
Someone who writes a treatise on 18th century buttons and their relation to the Franco-Prussian conflict might be a really excellent work on that, but it's a very narrow audience that we don't necessarily. So there are sometimes it's excellently, really well reviewed, but we don't get it because it's not the right format or the right audience. And so it's sometimes like 80% of my day is making those tricky decisions, and we take every one of them very seriously, because, and this is true of everyone who works for City of Tech City, we take the fact that it's all your money we're spending very seriously. And so we're really careful with spending. We try to make sure that everything we're buying is adding value to the library.
Sure. I love it. So the book, In the Altogether, check out Taylor Johnson and go check out his book. He's a good guy. That's cool. Getting a book in the library, it doesn't seem like it would be. It doesn't seem like it would be easy, which is a good thing, because you only have so much space. Want to make sure that people are using it. Have y'all ever had the desire, or maybe even started or done this? Have y'all written a book yourselves?
I have not written anything yet.
If you were to write a book, what kind would you write? Style?
Fantasy, sci-fi.
Do you have the characters already?
I had an idea.
You're like, I actually did write a book.
I actually have an idea. I haven't written anything down. And my husband was humoring me when I was saying, I have this idea.
Yeah.
And what it would be is it would actually be a series, which would have a children's book with characters for children. But the same universe would also have a teen YA book with teen YA. And it also fit into the universe with an adult
okay.
version. So all the same universe. And so, and then also you could for the children's books, you can also get cards, playing cards, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of thing.
Yeah.
going
Oh man,
on with,
you're marketing and everything.
Everything is
Yes.
marketed 100%.
marketing
Yes.
100%.
It's got to be a
And
shared universe.
shared
universe.
Well, it'd have to be a shared universe
Yeah.
because I would also create connections and conversation in the family, and then the child would see, oh, I want to read the teen book because I read the children's book, but I have to read better, and then the teen would be like, oh, I gotta get the adult book and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's my universe idea, but
Very
that
cool.
I haven't written.
Yeah.
But it
The
works.
writing, it's the easy part. You've got the idea.
The idea.
6-picture
And
deal.
It's like it's set in a library on the edge of a universe, and it would have this like separate door that would lead into this other universe.
Ah, that's cool. Okay, what about you, Luke?
See, my wife has constantly told me that, like, oh, you how can you tell me you've never wanted to write a book? Because I've never wanted to write a book. I love reading. I love film. I love music, but I don't want to create any of them. I want to be a consumer and analyzer of them. But I don't want to write anything. That's yet. I mean, I might one day wake up and have an idea and just have to start writing. I'm not against it. But I've never had something I've wanted to write. And so I'm not interested in writing. I just like the reading part of it. And it's, I like eating food, but I don't want to be a farmer too. So it's for me, it's the same thing. And she's
She's
like,
not looking at her face
I'm
like
like,
processing
wait,
that.
no, I want to have my own salmon in my yard.
there you go.
So whenever you are reading, for leisure, for fun, not necessarily for research or anything like that, what kind of books are you reading? What style?
Okay, I like so much of everything, but what I've tended to be most passionate about is kind of heavier fiction that has many layers to it.
Like a mystery or
no,
crime?
like Vladimir Nabokov, who wrote Lolita, and he wrote Speak Memory and Ada. So many other awful, and his work is just very, very, very textured. And then some of the classic, like Fyodor Dostoevsky, who wrote Crime and Punishment, and the Brothers Karamazov.
I'm just gonna keep shaking my head and pretend like
these are like
I was
really,
a librarian, master's degree major.
A lot of stuff that's like other people
Cool.
are like, yeah, that's. But then I really like the pulp noir fiction of like Raymond Chandler and Dashiell Hammett, and love those. And those are very, very easy reads. And so I like a real combination of those things. And I'm the same way with like film, where I like I don't really separate things out by whether it's high culture or low culture, whether it's for me, it's, what I'm looking for in the mood to enjoy. Do I really want to pour through where, like Shakespeare, where every line has multiple meanings and the way you read them, can change the entire meaning of the scene?
Yeah.
Or do I just want to read something that's fun and fast and propulsive? And it just depends on my mood. And, because, I've worked in I didn't read a lot of teen literature until I became the YA librarian 10 years ago. And then I realized, oh, wow, YA levels have just changed so much. And so I've read a lot of teen fiction that I never would have read. And, a lot of in children's chapter books and working in that area and getting a better awareness. So now I just read like everything and just get a real interest in it. But
cool. My movies, whenever I'm watching, you were kind of going through your process with the film. It's separated into two categories.
Yeah.
There's like Disney cartoon, and then there's like Disney Marvel.
There you go.
And that's about it. That's all I can watch.
It's almost the only thing that I'm making anymore. So it's
there's my kids, and there's like what they would watch, and then it's
fun
like
and exciting.
This one too, yeah. But that's awesome. I love learning stuff, and I feel like I learned a bunch of names, and I wish I could have. I'm gonna have to go back and watch and write this down.
Yeah.
And be like, what is Luke reading?
Yeah.
I want to dive into Luke's mind here.
We actually professionally offer what's called Reader's Advisory. So if you ever interested, I'd kind of like to read something. You can just call us on the phone and tell us authors you've read before you've liked, and we will cultivate a list for you that is to your preferences. And that is true of basically any library. It's just a basic service we offer. And you ask any librarian to do Reader's Advisory, and they'll be thrilled to jump into it because it's something that's really we're all very passionate about. And so, and we're all working to always become aware of authors, that even authors we don't professionally like, but don't personally like. There's a lot of authors who I think are great recommendations that I just couldn't get into. It's just not my cup of tea, but I know that they're quality authors and they're writing good work, and so I recommend them all the time. And so, it's a great thing to do if you're like, I would like to read a book, and just you can tell us like, okay, what some authors you've liked, and we'll find something that's got a certain level. Or, if you're like, I want to read something unlike whatever, I want to be really challenged. What's a good book? And we'll do that too. So yeah, if you're ever interested in, hey, I want to read something, just call a librarian. It's our favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I like
Talk
how
books.
you were sharing just reading it from a different perspective, or you read something, I read something, you may get something totally different out of it than I do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the beauty of that. I remember being in school and American literature and all that stuff, and reading it, and I'm just reading a story. Like Wuthering Heights, To Kill a Mockingbird. And then I'd have to go read the Cliff Notes book at Barnes & Noble, or like the internet was barely coming out when I was, like in school, and there was like Spark Notes. And I'm like, how do they get this out of
what?
this?
This is about the social aspects, dynamics of family.
The Scarlet Letter, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I did not, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it took like a lot of research. And I often wonder if the author even meant that whenever they wrote it. In some cases, they might have just been sharing a story.
I just think this is a good story.
Yeah, and after it was analyzed for years, they pull it out, and it just becomes a part of who we are. But
yeah, and the idea is it's supposed to be fun to pull those levels out.
Yeah.
And if it's not enjoyable for you and you're just reading it and you're just loving the story, you're still doing it right. And that's what sometimes puts people off from reading literary fiction and art, or even going to a museum, because it's like, I don't understand it. Well, I strongly recommend, if you feel like you want to understand it, we have a lot of books about how to read books on that way that are really easy to understand and read, and then can actually, because it's a learned skill, or you can just enjoy reading it and you're still doing it right.
Like Romeo and Juliet.
Juliet has
such a fun, dramatic story, and you don't even have to analyze all
There's no wrong.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way to read it.
Shakespeare literally wrote it so that there's all these dumb puns in it that are funny and goofy and ribald and inappropriate for the people in the cheap seats, but it's also this amazing work of literature that is universal and timeless for the people who are like, yes. So it's, even at the time he was performing it, it was meant to be those two things. And so as librarians, we want to be gatekeepers and let people know there's no wrong way to enjoy your art. There's no wrong way to read it or watch it or stream it. If you're getting enjoyment out of it, trust me, you're learning from it. It doesn't have to be this scholarly level that if you missed a symbol, you might as well just spit on that author's grave. No, you're doing it the right way. But for people who want to, learn how to read, that was just something I was interested in. And I had to teach myself. I've always loved reading, but like at a certain point, I was like, I'd kind of like to be able to pick these symbols out myself.
Is it hard to separate that for you in your personal life and if you're talking to somebody else, or no? Is that something you had to learn, like to separate, like you're just talking about?
Yeah. Well, it was, because when I first started doing that, I was a teenager, so I turned into an annoying snob, and so I was always talking like on this level about literature, and if people weren't reading it that way, I felt they were doing it the wrong way, because teenagers are pretty dogmatic, and but like as I grew up and learned that that's not very attractive or nice, it became very natural for me to discuss literature on different levels, and just discuss it on the level that people were enjoying. And, because you can have a really great, fun conversation with someone about plot and character without getting into deep methodology of the symbols, but you can also have a fun 3-hour conversation about, the symbol of the wounds on Reverend, Dimsdale's back if you want to.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Jessica?
I read a lot of brain candy.
Yeah. So the brain candy.
The brain candy. Well, I do a lot of, in any endeavor, I tend to really dive into and read a lot of technical things at work, like all the time. So even if I'm not, say, reading more serious fiction or nonfiction and such, I'm researching it and such. So when I'm at home, I'm reading manga and fan fiction and such. Though the AO3, the Archive of Our Own, just won a Hugo Award this past year for writing and such. So, like when I always read and got things checked out the items from our library. But when I was a tween, it was when I had my first checkout of a fantasy book that I discovered on my own, and I fell in love with just the creation of these new fantastical worlds and with talking animals and a lot of good versus evil, but then, looking back and rereading, I am a huge rereader. I will reread all of the series that I read when I was younger, and seeing there are a whole bunch. Yeah, there's a whole bunch more gray area where these characters are more complex, and the good characters do bad things, the bad characters do good things, and things like that, which I didn't really think of when I read it the first time, but like recently, the Robert Jordan Wheel of Time series, which is like 13, 14 books.
Quick read.
Quick read. And they're huge. They're humongous. I started when I was younger. I actually only made it up to book 4 because at the time I was waiting for each book to come out.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we're waiting for George R. Martin to get on the ball and finish his Game of Thrones series.
Mm-hmm. The TV show ended.
Yeah.
But then it's probably not, it's not going to line up with what he finishes,
okay.
right?
That's okay. I'm holding the 2 stories in my head.
Yeah.
But with that, I was like, one, as a teen, I didn't have the money to buy the new hardback coming out, or, I wasn't necessarily going to the library as much at that time. So I got tired of waiting for the next new one. I was like, I'll finish it, when it's all done. And then he died, and Brandon Sanderson finished his wife picked him, and he finished the series. And I actually just read his Mistborn trilogy, which was fantastic. But so now I'm actually like, okay, I have to reread the first 4 books to remember what happened, and then I have to make it through the other 7 and see how these characters are developed. So I just restarted that, and it's great fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, this did happen, but now I'm getting to the new stuff, and I'm like, okay. And it's just an endeavor of love because you're like, okay, I've got 7 more great books to go, but it's just time. They're like 600, 700 pages.
Yeah.
800.
Here's a comment, and they want to know one more time, what's the name of that fantasy book, the series?
The
Our
Wheel
Own?
of Time. The Archive of Our Own. So there's
I think so.
2 major. Well, there might be more now, but there's 2 major fan fiction sites that I tend to look for fan fiction. There's fanfiction.net, and there's also a site called Archive of Our Own. Now, I'm not sure how fanfiction.net started, but Archive of Our Own was started by a group of female writers who really wanted to write stories that with the characters they love, and a lot of it was how I feel this should have happened or should have ended.
Right.
And then you get and there's a whole bunch of who should hook up with who kind of stories, but there's also and so a lot of romance fiction and stuff, and then a whole bunch of crossovers between, say, Marvel characters and Harry Potter. What if this happened, and
making
such.
a new universe,
and a whole new universe. But the really cool thing too is that these are a lot of people who who have a chance to practice writing, practice having people read their writing, either comment or they make connections with people who are going to edit, and they can read tons of authors and be like, ooh, I like how they wrote that, and they can develop their style.
Yep.
Like a lot of people use this a lot and it's November and it's nearing the end of NaNoWriMo, which is the novel writing month. And so people are right now writing, 50,000 words?
Yep.
50,000 words
Right
is the
out.
goal for November and such for people who are always
Is that a lot, though? Is
It
that a
is,
lot?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it sounds like a lot, but I don't know. Like, I just remember being in school, and they used to do stuff by pages. Like, I'm like, front and back?
Yeah.
You want me to write what?
what
This
100
is
words
ridiculous.
100 words is a paragraph or something
Yeah.
like that, but
Yeah.
that's giving these people an opportunity and a chance to explore their authorship in all these different ways. And we've had, I can't come up with the names off the top of my head, but quite a few now published writers who got to explore their writing through the fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own.
There's Twilight.
Oh, they did tons of stuff on, Tumblr.
Yeah, a lot of
There's
people
tons
before
of
that-
different sites where people were
so
writing.
many authors who are now published authors started either doing
On their
NaNoWriMo
blog.
or fan fiction
Yeah.
or their blog. The Martian was self-published at first to get interest.
Wow.
because he was having a hard time getting publishing deals, and then that's a huge, insane success and a big movie and all that good stuff. And so it's a fan fiction. Sometimes like, oh, you're just making stuff up with other people's characters, but going to my favorite comparison, Shakespeare, almost all his plays were based on previous plays and taking the core story and then, making it his own. So it's not the old quote, there's nothing new under the sun, is an old quote for a reason.
Like John Williams, he consolidated all this music that he heard from previous times. So that's what people do. And it's nice when something like that wins a Hugo Award and wins official acceptance, so that people in the community can see, just this fun little hobby you have. It doesn't have to be looked down upon, and it's starting to get recognition, because of course it made money. So now, of course, now
recognition.
It has the stamp of approval now.
Oh, you can be profitable. Well,
oh man. So let's see. Right now it's 10:42. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. We've been talking about all kinds of books, all kinds of different categories. Whenever it comes to children's books, we mentioned something earlier about story times.
Yes.
There's still story times going on, even though the library is currently closed for renovations.
Yes.
It's going to be open in December is the hope and the prayer, and it'll happen. But what kind of story times do we have going on? Because there's still stuff for kids.
So Carol, our children's librarian, she is doing toddlers and preschoolers over at the Nestler Center. Mm-hmm. The best way to make sure you have the correct schedule is to check our Facebook page at Moore Public Library. Mm-hmm. And we have a couple left for the 2020 year. So toddler story times, if you have toddler, ages 1 through 3, we've got 2 more. So we've got Tuesday the 26th and December 3rd over at the Nestler Center. Check the calendar to see which room, because that's the part that I'm not sure about. And then also for preschoolers, age 3 to 5, they just had one. They're like right now. Mm-hmm. And we don't have one Thanksgiving week, but then there'll be December the 4th. There's the last one of the year on that Wednesday. But check our Facebook page just to make sure you've got the time in the correct room. Yep. But it's at the Nestler Center for, we have like three more. So 2 toddlers and one preschool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. And
cool,
then
cool. I know that there is a parade. Obviously, we're just talking about toddlers, which I have a toddler as well. And so I don't. My daughter is 2. She'll be 3 in February. But I don't think she's ever been to a parade. But I know Texas City has a Christmas-themed parade.
Fantastic.
She'd probably
parade.
enjoy that.
Gotta go.
What's going to be involved in that? Are y'all going to have a float in that?
We are. We had a float last year that instead of doing a float, we just pushed our book carts down the road. And we had a blast. But there was a safety issue in that people were rushing into the middle of the road to meet the book carts.
Okay.
So we decided against that. So this year we'll have a full float. And we're going to be handing out free children's books to the community. It's going to be 1 per family while supplies last, and then candy canes from when the supplies are out.
From the float, are you going to be like?
No, we're going to. So we're going to have people on the float handing people down to our little helpers who are going to be on the ground handing the books out. That way, there'll be plenty of people to go to the side, so no one will have to try to meet us in the middle.
Gotcha.
And we have lots of books, and we're going to be handing out children's books that we have through books that were excellent, but we just didn't have space for in our collection, or that were donated, and they're going to be handing out. And so we did that last year, and it was just so much fun. And this year we'll have a nicely decorated float, and the parade is always just fantastic. Last year was just amazing, some of the really heavily decorated floats they had, and it was just such a blast doing it. And so we'll be doing it again in this year, and we'll have plenty of library elves handing out free books.
Theme is old-fashioned Christmas.
Yes.
For the entire parade?
Yeah,
for the entire parade.
Okay.
And so we'll have old-fashioned children's book covers on our little elves handing books out.
That's awesome.
So we'll be books handing out books.
So it's Thursday, December 5th.
Yes.
And it starts at 5:30.
That's right.
Yes.
What's the route for that?
So it's going to start on the corner of Palmer Highway and Phoenix Lane.
Which is right by City Hall.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's going to travel east down Palmer to 6th Street, turn right on 6th Street, and it will end on 5th Avenue North.
Y'all walked that entire way with the carts?
With all those people screaming and cheering, it was...
The adrenaline.
The adrenaline. Yeah, exactly. It was a blast.
Finally, the credit we deserve. It was just like
Getting over the Zerg rush of people.
Yeah, it was so much fun that we had no problems walking that, and most of us will be walking it because we'll have people alongside the float walking it. The walking, it's no problem at all. I mean, it's just so much fun. You just have so much energy because everyone's so happy. There's all the Christmas lights and all the other floats and music, so it's great.
So were y'all handing out free stuff from the cart last year? Is that why people were rushing, or were they just like...
It was free books
People
last year.
swarmed us for the free books. And so what we had to do is had to stay to the sides of the street, which is actually kind of tricky because the road always dips. So you're having to keep a book cart afloat while it's at a slant and hand books out quickly.
I didn't know if it was going to be like at Walmart. You always get the one with the wheel. I don't know if there's like carts like that and you're just like trying to go and it's like...
No, we used our brand new carts that were really sturdy, but even with that, it was a lot of trouble keeping that. So we're happy to do away with the carts this year, and the city is nicely letting us use one of the Public Works trailers and providing a truck, and we're going to decorate it. So it's going to be really fun. It's always a really good parade, and we're one of the first of the year for the Christmas parade, so it's good to get in early. And so
well, then, because I know y'all have a lot of organizations and such, so if they can still get in on the act.
Yes.
The deadline is
to get a float.
To do a float is December 2nd is the deadline.
Yeah, so they can still do it, and there's plenty of time. So definitely, and you can find that at the city's webpage.
The applications on
the city's website, and it's real easy.
Cool.
There's a very low barrier to entry. Yeah, for best float. But some people's float is just something really simple, like a decorated pickup truck. With just if you can come up with a good idea. You have time still. So, but last year's parade was one of the biggest ones we've had for the city. And so hopefully it'll build on that success and be even bigger this year.
All right, fun. And it's old time Christmas? Is that what is the theme?
Old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned Christmas. So that gives you a lot of leeway to interpret that in your own way.
How much can we, like
Krampus.
Literature.
Yeah.
How much can we break this down?
Yeah.
Old-fashioned Christmas. Just in a... There's a lot of stuff you could do with that.
You could dress as chestnuts and roast yourself on fire and start running down.
That's an option. It could be old fashioned.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so that parade, December 5th, it's on a Thursday, starting at 5:30. If you want to attend, you can also go to the City of Texas City's website. You can also apply to have a float in that parade. If you have an organization, you just want to, as a neighborhood, as a person.
Just have fun.
Get involved. It's going to be a great time.
A lot of small businesses, a lot of organization, like local groups, so basically anyone and everyone can get in on it.
Cool. So we have about 10 minutes left.
Sure.
There's something that we talked about last time. It's the African American Heritage Oral History Project.
Yes.
It's going on right now.
Yes,
Y'all
it
are
is.
collecting data. How's that going?
It's going great. We've already got over 10 people who have signed up to do interviews. And, we want everyone who's lived in Texas City, who were residents from the 30s all the way to the through the 1970s is the period we're trying to cover for their stories. And we're looking for them to do an interview with us and tell us their story of living in the city, but also if they have any photographs, diaries, documents, church bulletins because what we're looking for is, where did they shop? Where did they eat? What church did they go to? What school did they go to? And the stories surrounding that, because we really want to fill our archive with the stories of the African American community in Texas City, because that's just an area in our archive where we have some of the least information. And so the best way to do that is them to directly tell us what their lived experience was. And so we're really excited about, and we have people from the west side, we have people from the south side. We're working with all the groups we can. So if you hear this and you're like, hey, well, you haven't talked to me yet, please get in touch with us because we want to. And eventually we're going to talk to everyone. And we think this is kind of timeline-wise going to be kind of a 2 to 3 year project for full completion, but we're not going to wait that long before we start hosting these stories. You'll start seeing them, a month or 2 months after we do our first interviews. And then, you'll see more as we go along, and we'll have them fully transcribed, and the video and the transcription will be paired together, so it'll be a really wonderful product. And we're really going to treat these stories and these histories with, the reverence they deserve and come up with a really excellent product so that it's really attractive and interesting for people. And then once we start doing that, we really hope to involve the schools in the community in, sharing this history, because we want it to be, an ongoing thing where we capture as much of the history as we can while it's still here.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about that.
And even if you have a family that has either the documents or pictures or diaries or things like that, and you don't want to give them
Yes.
and such, maybe consider loaning us so we could maybe digitize and still document that history so that it can maybe you're like, oh, I would be interested in the whole community having this information, but I don't want to give up the item itself.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a possibility as well.
You have a scrapbook or a yearbook or photographs or a journal, and it's like, yeah, but I don't want to give this up. I want my grandkids to have it. We totally understand. We can digitize it in a very short fashion. We're not talking months. We're talking days to weeks, depending on our load that we've gotten at the time. And we'll let people know when they donate. Okay, well, we just got a big donation, so you can wait a few weeks and give it to us then, and it'll be a period of days. Or you could give it to us now, and we'll handle it with very literally with gloves.
Yes.
And, very well taken care of. And we'll have it back to you in a few weeks, but never like months and months of time that we have to hold on to it. Our scanners are very fast and very efficient. So it's a great thing that, the public can have access to it while you still keep it.
Mm-hmm. And that's specific to Texas City.
Currently, yeah. And, if we find that there's just so many people who have stories, with other communities, then hopefully then some of those libraries or archives can jump in. And that's one of the reasons as I said, we're working to build an archivist of Galveston County group. It's going to just be at least a quarterly meeting, if not more often, where the libraries, the museums, the college archives, the private archives, everyone who wants to, they come together and they meet and they talk about what their holdings are and eventually, hopefully, build a way to have a shared holdings master list. And then, if we get 20, 30, 40 people saying, well, I live in, Dickinson, but I've got some great stories I want to tell there. Maybe since we've built this relationship with the Dickinson Library or the Lamarck Library, even though ones who don't have a local history librarian on staff, since we've done all this work already and we know how to do it, we can liaise with them and help build a project for them.
Yeah.
Because, once we've done a lot of the hard work of the research on the legal rights and the legal permissions and having all those done, it's much easier for us to just give them that material, them show it to their legal representative, change the name to, Lamarck, Dickinson, Santa Fe, and then a lot of the hard work's done. And then, as we said, we're going to have a volunteer program starting in January, and some of the volunteers are going to be helping us with transcription and archiving materials and scanning materials, and it's really fun, interesting stuff. But again, once we learn how to train those people, if the people in these communities don't have the staff on their library or their museum or what other organization who wants to take it on, we'll also be able to lend Jessica out and say, here's how you build a volunteer program. We won't do it for you, but we'll share everything because that's what London did with us, and we'll do the same thing for others. So we're hoping that it does have kind of a domino effect, because like I said, we don't, when someone says to us, hey, do you do this? We don't say no. We say no, but let's see if someone else is doing it. And we're hoping that in the future we can do more than that by building these kinds of cooperatives of saying, no, but fortunately, we are working with someone right now to develop a program of their own, because we'd love to see it spark interest in the greater Galveston County, so that Galveston County oral histories just become something that we're known for, that we're one of the best documented counties of in the state would be a huge thing.
That would be cool.
And it's something that could be achieved.
Yeah, and our area is so intertwined. I know the city of Lamarck was not even incorporated, in 1930, if I remember accurately, but I'm not sure when Texas City was, but like some people, they live in Lamarck, go to church in Texas City. It's literally like roads that separate these
and then
towns.
Like Dickinson ISD serves Texas City students and such. So it's all
and several other cities.
Communities.
Yeah, they've got I think 4 cities that they serve. If I remembered correctly, it's
Yeah, so there's a lot of stories out there
We're all neighbors.
that are going to be captured, and this is a really cool thing, and hopefully it will spark other places, and we can just have that Galveston County oral history. Yeah. You can just learn everything. That'd be amazing. How can they get a hold of somebody if they want to share their story or help in any way? Who would they contact?
So Teresa Mayfield is our local history librarian, and so they can email her at tmayfield, which is MAYFIELD FIELD at texascitytx.gov. You can just send us a comment on our Facebook page, and we'll get you that way. Teresa's information is on our our library website as well. If you want to send her an email, you want to give her a call, you want to leave a message. But if you forget any of those, just find us on Facebook.
Call the main number.
Call the main line. Whatever you want to do, it'll get to Teresa. So, she's excellent at contacting people. Once she gets a contact, she'll send an email very quickly, or if you prefer by phone, she'll give a phone call very quickly of letting her, further information, and either emailing or physically mailing or bringing out a form with a question so you have an idea of what's going to be asked in the interview. And
cool.
And so it's very, very easy. We bend over backwards to make it easy for people.
So we're just about out of time. We've been talking to the Moore Memorial Public Library. Is there any shout-outs that y'all would like to give, or anything else y'all would like to share?
Because I don't have a board right now, a community board, and I know CASA of Galveston County, which is the court-appointed special advocates for children. They sent me a flyer. So Saturday, December 7th, they're having their 5th annual Walk a Mile in My Shoes walk. If you don't know CASA, they provide trained volunteers who advocate for abused and neglected children in the foster care system.
Absolutely.
You can become a trained volunteer. You just go to www.casagalveston.org. Check them out. Send them a message if you want to get involved with advocating for abused, neglected, just children who have great need and such. So this walk is sort of their more so just outreach and getting people aware of their organization and what they do. So you can sign up for their walk, you can sponsor them, and just with a monetary donation, you can volunteer, give them a call. Contact them by email. They're great people. I talked to them. I stopped by the community family center right there on Texas Avenue, just because I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And I saw CASA. I saw the Mainland Community Partners, who also help with services. I'm not sure if you've talked to them before. They have
Not yet.
In there also is the Resource Crisis Center, who has caseworkers there that work with families. UTMB has a pregnancy center and a childhood health program there. It's like Health and Human Services has an office there. So, that's a huge center for services. And but yeah, shout out for CASA and their walk, which is going to be December 7th. You can even sign up same day and such. So check them out.
Super easy, yeah.
All right.
They're one of the many groups we're hoping to partner with once we're reopening for using our space for community outreach. It's something we're really reaching for is health, human services, job services.
They were at Touch a Truck. I saw
disability services. People look to Moore Memorial Public Library to be the place for Galveston County to find out more information and get good contacts for.
So the third week of December is the hope. Things
That's
keep going
the hope.
according to plan.
And be watching our Facebook and watch for us in the parade. Our goal is to have the announcement during the Christmas parade as our big reveal for the for sure grand opening day.
Huzzah.
All right. Well, thank y'all for hanging out today.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Cruise Planet.
All right.
All right. Bye, Facebook. Y'all be good. Be blessed.